That's like 20 bucks a month.
Do you know how much we're spending on cable?
That's like 50 bucks a month.
But you know what isn't expensive?
Tell me.
Kart Chaser Premium. For only $9.99 a month, you can watch all the American karting action live from coast to coast. Subscribe and become a member today.
Paulie Massimino wins in KA. Paulie Massimino is a winner in OKN Stars.
Take your driving to the next level with one-on-one coaching from 2024 OKN Stars champion Paulie Massimino. Car rental options are available if you'd like to keep yours at home, and drivers in all classes are welcome, from Briggs 206 to Mini to K100 and X30. With in-depth data analysis, onboard video footage review, and lead follow on-track sessions, each private coaching session will see you end as a more complete driver than when you started. Book your coaching session now.
Florida Kart Racers, you asked for it and we're going to bring it. Introducing Florida Karting Championship, FLKC, a brand new racing series coming to Florida in 2026.
Hi, I'm Jackson with Alpha Race Hub. Alpha is an all-in-one motorsports software solution that can solve all the software problems you need for your track, facility, or series. Alpha can cover all your software bases, from online registration, digital e-waivers, a proprietary timing and scoring software, incident management, automated points tabulation, tire and barcode scanning. We even have our own mobile timing app and rental kart activity management software. If you're looking to consolidate your motorsports software solutions, reach out to us at alphatiming.co.uk.
Champions aren't just born on the kart track. At SimShop, we deliver professional-grade simulators with the best performance-to-price ratio in the industry. Founded by racers who understand what you need, our SimMagic and Moza equipment is powerful enough for the pros, yet affordable for everyone. With unmatched customer support and a thriving community, we're your racing partner. Visit simshop.com today.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
Are you stuck with your kart racing? Not sure the ideal kart setup? Or going to a track for the first time? Well, Kart Class has the answers for you. Our online portal has a wealth of experience and knowledge to help your kart racing. From kart setup advice to track guides that are targeted specifically to your circuit, or the driver coaching aspect with mindset, racecraft and driving techniques. If you want to take your karting to the next level, visit us at kartclass.com.
Are you looking to take the next step in your racing journey? Well, look no further than PitFit.
With 2 locations in Charlotte, North Carolina and Indianapolis, Indiana, PitFit trains drivers all the way from grassroots level karting to IndyCar and NASCAR with top-of-the-line personalized coaching to improve physical and cognitive fitness.
For more information on programs, check out PitFit on Instagram or Facebook today.
For those of you here in the paddock, we ask that you please rise and remove your caps for the playing of our national anthem. "5 years in the making, the 5th year of the IAME Grand National Championships. Welcome to 2025. Today, we crown some brand new champions. And let's take a look at Trackhouse Motorplex. 11 turns of action, 0.75 of a mile, 3/4 of a mile to be exact. And again, biggest passing zones, turn number 3, we saw it yesterday in the shootout. Turn number 4, you'll see some dives on the inside, some sends around the outside. If you're Dalton Haynes and like turn number 6, you might see something there. Turn number 8, you'll see deep sends on the inside, maybe some switchbacks in a turn number 9, and as well some crossover moves all the way to the finish line here in the heart of Mooresville, North Carolina, NASCAR country. And the reigning IAME Grand National Champion, Dutch Westbrook, gets ready to lead this field out onto the racetrack. The Bennick machine looking to go back-to-back in IAME Grand National Championships. And let's take a look back at how the number 1 got it done in 2024.
The first chance to repeat a victory is on tap here for Dutch Westbrook. This was such a big moment for him, and going up against the driver in Micro Swift who had dominated to this point in the year, Zane Burgess in front there, Jaden Francisco, who has also moved up to the Mini Swift category and already gotten himself wins and championships and been in the conversation almost every weekend this year. Zane would have been as well. So these are 2 drivers Dutch doesn't have to worry about today, but he can take the feather into his cap that he was able to get the better of him 1 year ago. On this final lap right here, Zane defending low, Jaden following, sandwich in the middle, and Dutch with a crossover that initially didn't look like it was going to work. But right here at turn 9 was the open door opportunity he needed to get the gap, get the positioning, and drive up the hill to chase his first IAME Grand Nationals win. And now, 1 year removed, he's going to have an opportunity to do it again, and maybe do it in spectacular fashion, this time with the number 1 plate on the go-kart. Another driver who's just got his first career number 1 plate there. Lennox Lockhart getting a last bit of intel, the Micro Swift shootout race winner and SCUSA Pro Tour 2025 champ is ready to roll.
USPKS champ.
Or USPKS, yeah, mixed up. My apologies. We've had a lot of championships in a big run. USPKS champion for Lennox Lockhart. Brody Stoffel got his first career SCUSA Pro Tour champion, splitting the Micro Swift championships. There will be one more Micro championship for the regular season to crown in 2 weeks for the Star Series, but 2 of this year's national champs on the grid, starting right around last year's race winner. And, well, they are far from the only ones worth mentioning as serious contenders for this main event win. How about our most recent main event winner? little Jack Katowski ready to get after it for the Trinity Karting Group Burrell Art squad.
Yeah, Jack Katowski coming off a huge run at the United States Pro Kart Series, looking to get it done here at the IAME Grand National Championship. How much would that mean for Jack, his brother Nico, helping him suit up? Last little bits of preps, last little bits of advice as engines get fired down on the grid. You have to go up to row number 1, though, to find Liam Francisco and Slate Harrell. And on Nitro Kart, Ryan Perry Motorsports, row number 1, the reigning IAME Grand National Champion, the number 1 Dutch Westbrook, starts alongside Lennox Lockhart.
Brody Stoffel, again, SCUSA Pro Tour champ on the inside of the most recent national winner in Jack Katowski. Then it's Bo Stowers, who was second in the warm-up and could very easily steal the win under the nose of everybody else as we've got problems off the bat. Trey Sanders spins and gets beached here in the grass at the end of the access road. And, well, he's going to need some help to get out from there. I imagine they will probably wave the field around. No points on the line here. This is a one-off. We want everyone to get a shot to fight for a Grand National title. So this may send us to an aborted start. We'll have to wait and see what the official wording will be for the micros, as it's at least a full outlap to bring temp in the tires, so he'll have time. And I believe they may try to motion to the front row to say, hey, give us a moment here. We want to get everyone together to give all 19 a shot at the race win. On tap, 20 laps for the youngest superstars, the first of our 6 main events here today. And we'll race straight back-to-back all the way through it until we get to crowning our podiums and our Grand National champions. The entire top 5 get a trophy and a piece of the prize package, over $70,000 in cash and prizes. For the Micro Swifts, it's a full new IAME Swift engine to the winner, along with the Grand National Championship trophy. It'll be massive. Might be taller than some of the drivers. It's always fun to watch the kids with the emotion, the adrenaline, hopefully still there at the podiums, try to lift that big #1 plate up. And then it's a set of MG tires for second, along with a Prisma tire gauge for third, and then the slightly smaller but still pretty beefy IAME Grand National Championship trophies for 4th and 5th. We get to decide it here. 5 of the 19 you see on your screen will get a shot at it, and we are ready and away. No green on the first time by.
Yeah, one more time around for these drivers to get lined up as Trey Sanders joined them just as they went into the tram line, so giving him another shot to get this one going. So just an extra lap here for these drivers to put in some warmth into those tires. And again, we talked about it this morning in the morning show, and a lot of the drivers have been competitive throughout the weekend as Liani Schiavo goes around the 22 issues here for Liani, who finished 12th in the morning warm-up session. Looking promising, and we'll see if Liani can get back to the front of the group and rejoin here, as Francisco as well had issues on the exit of turn number 7.
So that is going to potentially send us around again, or at least definitely slow down this pace lap as we try to just manage it to be only 1 aborted start and go green on our second time by. And the RPM Nitro Kart front row ahead of the Velocity Sodi, Lennox Lockhart, the Bennick #1 plate for Dutch Westbrook, trying to see if he can't keep it for a 2nd consecutive year before he, well, may have to surrender it, I'd imagine, with the year that Dutch has had, along with the drivers starting around him, Lennox and Brody. They're looking up to the Mini Swift class for 2026, ready to go up to the next stage bracket and continue to climb the ranks. But before they get there, we go green for the IAME Grand National Championship in Micro. All safe and sound through turn number 3 as they jockey for position through the bowl. First time by Lennox Lockhart in an argument there for P4. He'll win out over Jack Katowski, and it's the bright yellow fella, Liam Francisco, that leads the way into the infield for the first time. Teammate Slate Harrell with a good start to lock in right behind him, and Lennox Lockhart going right to work off the bat, pass for third. Westbrook shuffled quickly back 1, maybe 2. He's going to have the inside here in turn 9, along with Katowski, who bails out, and then Bo Stowers, it looked like, got a good start to get to 6th. I believe he is still there as they go up the hill ahead of Brody Stoffel, with battles down to Mason Brody. Again, keep your eye on the 72. He's got his work cut out for him after the way the heats played out, but he is driving forward. One driver lost, unfortunately, from the first lap. It was the Nitro car to Jackson Brewster. So a heartbreak for young Jackson. He won't get to continue, but the rest of the field, 18 of your 19, ready to get after for the remaining 19 laps.
Yeah, and everybody else just third on back. You need to be careful with how much they battle. Slate Harrell, Liam Francisco, we saw them work really well together yesterday, right? Finished 1-2 throughout the majority of the heat races and the super heat, as though they were quite competitive. And again, they just got to be careful with how much they're going to fight here at the start of the race. Luckily for Lennox, finally able to break away from Dutch Westbrook, get himself closer up to the top 2. And everybody else here, this second group with Jack Katowski, with Stowers, Stoffel, they're still battling a little bit as yellow flags wave as we get into turn number 11. And one of the Sodi karts out of this one early, and I think that might be Tavares in the number 7.
So Leonardo Tavares had already a rough start, not getting to run the full warm-up session with an issue, and now drops to the bottom of the leaderboard. And the leaderboard at the top might shift in a moment. For now, it's single file up front as Lennox Lockhart pulls to the rear bumper of Slate Harrell and try and push away and make it less than what we just saw on the opening lap altogether, and try to build the gap back to Dutch Westbrook, who is kind of on the border of hanging on to that lead trio. And behind him, here's Brody starting to make some moves back forward. It wasn't a great start for the 29. He's now up to 5th with that pass there on Bo Stowers, or 6th, sorry.
Yeah, there goes Brown, looking to go right back. Brody Brown gets clear there on Mason Brody, so they've been just going, on Stalis there in the 77. They've kind of been going back and forth throughout this race as Stowers now extends his gap a little bit. And for the number 1, getting himself closer to the top 3, closing in that gap. Here's a look further back. Hudson Howard was one of the drivers that started way back in the field. The J. Howard driver development 49 is already up to 14th after starting last in this one. His teammate Stoffel is the one we're following around, and we'll see if Stoffel can get up to the top 4, close on his gap to try and become an IAME Grand National Champion.
Long race ahead, and anything can happen up front when you have more than just 2. Even though the teammates are playing this race as smart as they can. Slade Harrell being a great pusher to Liam Francisco. Lennox Lockhart showing some patience as well, having closed up the gap to the top 2, but not necessarily forcing any moves yet. No hurry needed here with the distance of this main event. This will be just shy of about 18 minutes, I believe, for the micros from green to checker, and that'll put 4 now down. Still 16 laps ahead of us for the first of our 6 main events on the day. K.A. Jr. now onto the grid and ready to go. Brody Stoffel there by himself. He's pulled away from this group. He would love a bit of a helping hand to try and reach the leaders. It'll be tough to do on his own, albeit he did make some headway last time by, a 53.87 for Brody to the leader at a 54.12. So he is gaining. He is quick on that JHD Kart Republic.
And I tell you what, nobody is faster than young 8-year-old Brody Brown, a 53.680 for Brown, the 17 Pennick, showing some pace here. And this is really a breakout weekend for Brody Brown as well, to get himself inside of the top 10. Nonetheless, though, everybody else working their way through. And I really think here, Xander, we're going to see a very patient race out of our front two. And this is where it's going to get mixed up, right? If Dutch Westbrook, Lennox Lockhart, for them, the key here, the goal is to try and split up both of those nitro karts, to try and mix things up, right? And for them to take control, because as we're seeing it now, it could really be a 2-car breakaway if, again, the Sodi or the Bennick don't try to split them up. And here's a move further back as Brown on a Stalis was blocking and looking to go on Stowers. They're all staying in line, but to me, that's the key to victory here for Lennox Lockhart, right? Split up both of those nitro karts, try and take control of this race.
Yeah, you cannot let the teammates stay here, because if at any moment Dutch Westbrook wants to go by you for third and the gap opens up, you would think that instantly the RPM and Nitro Kart squad on the fence line are going to let Slate know and say, hey, here's your opportunity. Knock it down to just a mano-a-mano fight. Push, just as you have been here with Liam. So for Lennox Lockhart and for Dutch Westbrook, when do you want to split them? How about right now? Change for second. Yes, Lennox Lockhart is by on Slate Harrell as he checks back and now sees the bright blue machine of Dutch Westbrook. And behind, again, this is exactly what Brody Stoffel needs. More movement at the front. Westbrook now to third, shuffles Harrell back to fourth. And it's Liam now with no dancing partner, at least that you would think, behind him. Let's see if in the next half lap or so, Lennox decides to keep the momentum going and go to the lead. Into the run to turn 8. Just a peak there, but nothing yet for the top spot. Still plenty of time to go, and they've still only got about 2 seconds. By the last lap, with the way they were lined up, they did open the gap back to Brody Stoffel. This lap, maybe around a wash with no push for Liam. And really, again, no push right now for Brody, but he is kind of still towing that second group along with Jack Katowski, Bo Stowers, and a move here down the inside. Mason Brody wanting to climb the board, and Brody Brown said no. Quick slam of the door shut in turn 1.
And again, Astalis spent a little too long trying to get around Brody Brown, where Mason Brody was able to get ahead and up to 9th. So now it's a switch in the JHCD machines on who's going to take the fight to the Bennick. That sits in 8th as a battle for the lead here. I'm curious to see what Lennox Lockhart decides to do here, right? Again, Slate was pushing quite contently with Liam, and Lennox looks as well kind of content to push the leader in Liam Francisco. So Lennox has been really patient here in the second spot. And this is where, if you're Slate Harrell here, Xander, I'm curious, what do? Do you go back up to third, or do you sit patient in line and stay in fourth?
You're just kind of waiting to see if a window opens, I think. I think if you see a bobble out of Dutch, or out of Lennox where the opportunity presents itself, you go. But I don't think you try to force the issue if it's not there. I mean, at this point in the race, they're still, again, borderline breaking away from the pack behind, and the only downside to waiting in fourth is what we're seeing on display here. They can battle up front, and they'll have always one cart behind at minimum to push them back to the lead. If Slate Harrell makes any mistakes right now, any miss of an apex, any slip of the hands, well, he's got no, safety net of a car to push him back to the group. He's relying on all of his own merit to keep hitting his marks, to stay in that tow range and close back up on the big straights, or again, be the benefactor of what we just witnessed there, a change in position. Dutch Westbrook now, the next challenger, up on deck as we put 9 laps in the books, 11 to go. Brody Stoffel still, again, top of the screen, hoping to close the gap to the leaders, the 29, still even at 2.1 seconds away, and further away now from the pack behind. His teammate, Liam Astalis, makes the move there for 6th, and that's only going to bring that gap to be even larger from the back of Stoffel as we see our first lead change. Dutch Westbrook puts the number 1 in position number 1, and Slate, perfect example there. Opportunity presented itself, now you slip on by, but you didn't cost yourself any time as the warning flag gets displayed for young Jack Katowski. That's the 92 machine under review, or maybe a closer eye of the stewards for whatever he may have done in the last lap or two.
And again, Dutch Westbrook going to lead doesn't surprise me. That's kind of been, his strong suit, right? Going up front, making passes when necessary, and leading the race, having control. That's where Dutch Westbrook is really comfortable. So we'll see how it plays out for the Bennick as he continues to go forward. In the case of Brody Stoffel, who's really a no man's land, sitting a personal best lap time, took a good chunk out of the gap that time around, about 3/10 to your leaders, but again, it's very close. He's 1.7 back. This year is going to help him, though. Liam Francisco goes on the inside. Slate Harrell follows him through for 2nd. Lockhart through for 3rd. And Westbrook from the lead back to 4th. And it's as easy as that here at Trackhouse Motorplex to lose that number of spots in one corner.
It's never over till it's over, right? It's so hard to stay motivated, but when you see the gap visually close, the motivation comes easy. You saw Brody even hopping in the seat there in the run from turn 7 to turn 8. He can visually see now that the gap is shrinking, that the progress is being made. The hard work is starting to pay off. He's got to stay on it. He's got to stay perfect. He's all by himself. He might be able to will his way to the front as we put 11 laps down and now see only 9 laps remaining. Single digits left here in the main. Still a lot of time and a lot can change. For now, it's Liam Francisco and Slate Harrell back to the formation from the earlier stages. 1 and 2 with Lennox Lockhart 3rd and Dutch Westbrook having to regroup a little ways back there in 4th, but that's even better for Brody as he'll help bridge the gap with the draft off the back of the number 1.
Yeah, that's huge. It almost looked like the number 1 was kind of losing the draft to the back of the top 3. Now it looks a little bit closer visibly, but again, like you said, that's going to be huge for Stoffel to try and push Westbrook up to the top 3 and for them to kind of get back up into the mix. So I think pretty soon here, Xander, maybe lap 15, that's my target on when I think we're going to see maybe a 5-kart battle for the race win here.
I think so as well. And it may not be any more than that because the gap now back to Bo Stowers' group is up to about 5 seconds and increasing lap over lap. Brody Stoffel continues to try and hang tough. He lost a little bit that lap as they were lined back up again, but you just got to stay with it and hope that they'll shift. His hopes for the win now kind of rest on the shoulders of Lennox Lockhart, who is waiting patiently here behind Slate Harrell. And Slate made a little bobble there through the bowl, kind of ran up the racetrack a bit, but had a good corner there in turn 6. So close right back to Liam's bumper here into the infield. I don't know, again, how good or bad everybody is when they're this close, and you know you've got the 2 major straightaways to group the field together, but to me it seems like Slate's just not as comfortable in his go-kart right now as maybe the other 3 of this 4-pack up front. Dutch Westbrook already is starting to make some inroads back to them. Lennox Lockhart's had a hand at the front, and of course Liam Francisco's led the way. But that won't matter with this many in contention when we get to the last couple laps. If you have a bad handling go-kart, good handling go-kart, when it turns into a melee and a 2x2, 3 wide, defensive, offensive, attack formation, you just got to play the drivers. You don't have to play your instrument, if you will, as much. Right now we're seeing it more so, though, on display as they remain single file.
Yeah, Slate for a couple of laps, he was kind of looking over his shoulders. To me, he kind of looked a little nervous, right? Sitting there in second, thinking that he was going to see a lot more of what he saw earlier, right? We were in this situation at the start of the race, and what happened when the rest of the drivers got up there, they split them up, and he fell all the way back to fourth. So I think here it's a matter of him just kind of getting in that groove, relaxing a little bit, because nerves are obviously rising, right? We're about to start lap 15. You're going to start to feel the pressure start to mount up. And again, you're racing for a race win. You're racing for an IAME Grand National Championship. Of course, these kids are going to be nervous as we took a look back at that second group. Mason Brody now, the driver that leads them away over Liam Astalis, Katowski there in 8th, Stowers, and Brown. Your top 10, and here it goes. This is what we saw earlier. Lennox Lockhart looking to split up the 2 nitro karts for second. They're side by side. It's not going to be as easy this time around for Lockhart, and it's not. Harrell holds on a second.
Yeah, we know exactly where we are in the race, but the drivers have their Micron data gauges with a rough lap count on that as Lennox makes the move stick, this time in 8, and goes a little deep to do it. It's going to bring Dutch into play, give Liam a bit of a gap, and here comes Brody Stoffel, now back into view again, almost there. The speed was there early. He needs more of this movement here to keep closing up to the top 4. 5 to go this time by. Liam Francisco leads the way, and now it's Lennox Lockhart trying to track him down. Harold back to the inside for third, trying to stay close. He knows that we're at the latter points. You can't fall too far back. You won't have the laps to be able to charge through the pack. You've got to stay as high as possible at this point. The patience starting to wear thin, though, for Dutch Westbrook, the reigning champ, trying to go back in on him in 4. They're going to go wheel to wheel. He didn't complete it. I think he'll have to give way, and he does.
And I think Dutch knows, right, the best position to be on that final lap is third, and he kind of wants to repeat the same thing he had last year. When he won, he was in third going into the last lap, so the last couple of corners. So I really think he wants to be in that position again here this weekend and in this race. And he's just trying to get it on Slate Harrell. I think more than anything, that's hurting them, right? They're losing time to Brody Stoffel. That's quite evident. And as well, your top 2 are breaking away here, and they're really not giving Lennox that push that he might need extra to try and pass Liam Francisco here.
4 laps to go. Liam Francisco looking for a first Grand National Championship win. Lennox Lockhart, the same. Slate Harrell has won at this racetrack more than any other venue in his young and budding career, and he might be able to do it here at the Crown Jewel event for Trackhouse Motorplex, but he's got to close that gap. That is now up over 6.5 tenths of a second. Let's see what Lennox does now. This is the closest he's been, but he even missed a little bit running through turn 6, trying to close up. He'll get a big run in turn 8. He's going to hold back for now, trying to play the draft game here with a chance to maybe break away. Hope for this behind. As you saw Dutch there, look to the inside, then the outside. Didn't end up doing anything, and with Slate running a bit off the pace in turn 8, that was the last bit that Brody Stoffel needed. We've got 5 of them now, well within view. 3 laps to go in our first main event of the day. Micro Swift
getting ready to go down to the wire. Liam Francisco leads, and you never know with the Grand National Championship podium going down to 5th, any penalties or crashes or chaos on the final lap could mean that second group is going to be on the top 5 standings and get a trophy or maybe more. That battle continues with Mason Brody now falling to 7th, and it's Jack Katowski at the front of it. Hudson Howard in 8th, Brody Brown 9th, and Astalis your top 10. But our focus is here because at any moment this race could explode. For now, the Canadian Liam Francisco is leading the way here at the U.S. IAME Grand National Championship, headed for the double sticks.
And he gave himself a little bit of a buffer as well over Lennox Lockhart. That's going to close when they get to the front stretch, but this time by 2 sticks in the air, 2 laps to go for your Micro Swift drivers. And here's the Francisco family watching on from the fence line along with Ryan Perry Motorsports, Brandon Carr there as well, as Liam Francisco looks to become an IAME Grand National Champion. He's going to go to the bottom for a second there. Lockhart going to go even lower to the lead of the race.
New leader with a lap and a half to go. Lennox takes over, and that one move has brought them all nose to tail into turn 5, and the defense begins. Lennox Lockhart, how low do you go in turn 8? You know that the pack's going to be close. You know that Liam will have to follow. He goes about center, gets a little love tap. Here comes Slade Harrell with the crossover. Westbrook the same, that 3 wide for second. Contact! Sideways there for Slade Harrell in a big moment, but he hangs on to it, and it's Lennox that'll lead him out of turn 9.
This is huge, and that was close. Slade Harrell still very well in contention. The same for Westbrook, the same for Stoffel. These 5 drivers have been some of the best that we've seen all year long, and they're fighting for one of the biggest trophies in the U.S. around the outside. Westbrook on Harrell. Lockhart still leads as they're going to go side by side for third there for a second. Francisco within a shot in turn number 4.
No team orders, no championship, no points racing. Going for the win right now as they head down to turn 4. Even with blocking low, Harold closed the gap, but he washed out wide again, and it looks like it could come down to 2 of them. Does Liam Francisco know he's got enough space out back that he can set up for a crossover? Let's see if it happens. Lennox Lockhart trying to win. Again, he leaves the door open. Liam sends it, and they get bogged down. 3 wide again for second. Harold to the outside. Can he make it a 1-2? Door to door with Lockhart. Liam Francisco with now a 3-car length lead. 2 corners to go. Up the hill for the final time as they race for second behind. Liam Francisco wins the Micro National Championship.
And the Ryan Perry Motorsports team absolutely fired up for the number 20, who's an IAME Grand National Champion in 2025 as Brody Brown into the wall in the last corner.
Big moment for Brody Brown. He is frustrated, and understandably so. The good part is, if he's able to be upset, it seems like he is okay. That was a big impact that blew through the Scribner barriers. And the final few carts crossed the line. Your provisional results: Liam Francisco with a send and a half with the race on the line. 3 corners to go, makes it stick on Lennox Lockhart to score the win. Lockhart holds on to second, Harrell third, Westbrook fourth, Brody Stoffel rounds your top 5. Liam Francisco now will add his name to the Francisco family as winners on the U.S. National Tour in Micro Swift. How about it, and how about a way to get it done?
Slade said I did something. Good job, Liam.
Liam, it's your first national win. How does this one feel to get it done at the IAME Grand Nationals?
Good.
Who would you like to thank for this win? I see all your support system over there.
My team, my driver, my dad, my engine builder, my uncle, Nitro, RPM, and yeah.
Tell me about that race. What did it take for you to get it done?
I was just trying to go and just pull away, and yeah. And I seen he wasn't blocking good, so I just seen there was a little hole, and I went through it, and I tried.
Thank you, Liam, and congratulations.
You're welcome. Thanks.
How about it for Liam Francisco with a move to set the tone for the day. We'll be back. 5 more main events on tap. K.A. Jr. Up next, you're watching Kart Chasers coverage of the IAME Grand National Championship. We'll be right back.
Kyle, what are you doing?
It's got my new Greyhound seat.
You don't even have a cart.
Doesn't matter. I have a Greyhound.
Who the f is Kyle Cuthbertson? Doesn't even have a go-kart.
Doesn't matter.
Cuthbertson through on Turney. Turney in the dirt.
Cat food marketing. $9.99 a month.
Dude, Caleb, wake up. Dude, we're live in 5 minutes. Let's go. Come on. What are you doing?
Dude, I'm so sorry. Xander had me in a cat food marketing meeting till like 2 a.m. last night.
Come on, man.
Do you have anything I can drink?
Dude, I got the perfect thing for you. Perico. It's a healthy energy drink alternative.
Perico, non-GMO, gluten-free, kosher, magnesium, B12, B6,
yeah, it's good.
B5, biotin, and 0 sugar? Pericazo! Try Perico, made with natural ingredients, organic caffeine, and supports your metabolism. Try the new official energy drink of Kart Chaser.
K.A. Jr. ready for action here from the Trackhouse Motorplex. The IAME Grand National Championship. Lucas Palacio getting ready to start on the inside of row number 1 alongside Buddy, John Antonino, Max Weiland, and Tristan Murphy making up row 2.
We go back to Oliver Nybert, Max Christie on row number 3, to Nathan Golseth and Travis Pettit on row number 4. Valentino Santillan and Nathan Dupuy going to round up your top 5 rows.
Let's take a quick look here at the last bit of the field as well, as they're already formed up. Martin Jaramillo and Alex Miller all the way back to Benjamin Highland and Lucas Dreibel on that final row. In total, it looks like all 34 starters have made the grid. Let's send them. No, not that time by. We'll get another moment here to catch our breath, as it was a bit too quick to get the race going. It'll be 22 laps for the KA 100 Juniors. So a full other lap here to warm those tires up or clean them back off, more importantly. You can see the rubber and marble and debris buildup very evident at the exit of turn number 4 and the entrance there. Look at that as well to turn number 5. So when you have to go down the inside of the racetrack on the whole front straightaway, you're picking up quite a bit on the tires. So for Lucas Palacio, being mindful of that, going through it there and then cleaning the tires back off, he'll have hopefully a good read of what he needs to do to hold the lead coming out of turns 1 and 2. And it'll be our second biggest field on the day getting set to go green here. They've been the biggest through our heats. We've finally brought all of our K100 seniors together for the big dance, the main event. That'll be following this one up 50 deep, a sold out field. And for K.A. Jr. here, 34 with an all Kart Republic MPG Motorsports front row. Lucas Palacio yesterday had the field covered, but we're back on the more familiar standard layout here at Trackhouse Motorplex that will more than likely tighten those lap times up off of everyone else's laps and experience. And we talked to young Ashton Woon there. You can see him Said in KA, he's just got to get through the start and then try to march forward. He starts a bit further back than he will later this afternoon. In X30 Jr, a number of drivers will have 2 shots to call themselves an IAME Grand National Championship. Here's their first. KA Jr is green.
One driver way off the racetrack, one of the OTKs further back out of this race early, but Palacio comes away on the exit of turn number 4, still in the lead. Weiland slots in a second to Cristia, to Antonino, who dropped back to 4th.
So you saw Max Weiland right off the rip trying to tell Lucas Palacio to focus forward in the run to turn 4. Lucas still right now covering the low side and packing the field up. And that's going to keep us with a lot of drivers still well within contention. Max is trying to build some faith in him. Lucas doesn't trust him at all. He'll cover low again in 11. Antonino with a crossover for second. This is what Lucas was hoping for. Now he'll go to the normal line as he's caused some chaos behind. And look how low Nathan Gulseth, or Tristan Murphy, had to go down the front stretch to hold 5th. It's allowed the top 4 to break away a little bit. And Hurricane Trav right there continues to put the pressure on for that spot in the second group. Valentino Santian well out of shape there, holding that Gulseth and Dupuis. So a little bit of separation, but it'll tighten up in just a moment if they can get back to Lucas Palacio. He's got enough of a gap now. He can go to the normal line into 8. And in fact, they will race again behind him. This is now Max Cristia to the inside with Weiland pushing, and the 2 Maxes get by on Antonino.
There you go, Max Weiland, Max Cristia, 2nd, 3rd respectively now on the racetrack. And again, looking to chase down Lucas Palacio here, still very early. Murphy looking inside of 11, he's clear. Now Travis Pettit looked to get a couple of moves done there himself, and Nybert. You see Pettit already kind of just pointing, asking for a little bit of help to try and get up and try and make some moves, mix things up here as well. Yesterday we saw Lucas Palacio able to pull away from the rest of the field in KA Junior, sorry. We'll see if we can do that again. Today is Antonino, turn number 4 for spot number 4. He's clear.
Nice move to be able to get that spot back. Antonino now can reset and focus on the cars in front as Oliver Nybert goes to the inside. Nybert there through 8. Little wheel fed to Murphy, who's all out of shape now and gets swarmed. Dupuis is by. Santian now to the outside. He'll go back a spot or 2. And that will only build the margin and give some breathing room up front as now Nathan Gulseth covers from Tyrone Kemper Jr. Tyrone was fastest in the warm-up session earlier today, but he is still fighting through the top 10, as is the cars around him who have shown speed through the weekend. Pettit with a nice move, finally by on Tristan Murphy. He'd been working on that all race. Now he leads the pack down the back straightaway as Murphy gets even a little tap there from Gulseth into the brake zone. With 5 deep in a line, you got a lot of chain reaction, kind of back and forth, bumping into the braking area, trying to judge the car in front, but not leave yourself at risk of getting dive bombed by the car right behind you. And here we are into turn 8. Little fade low for Tyrone to keep Santian at bay. Yellow flags waving, crash down in 7. Callan Berghofer colliding. Is that Nico Katowski with him? No, one of the other TKG Bureau Arts there, a little further back, potentially. In the infield, 4 laps down, long way still ahead, and it's KR 1-2 at the home venue. Here, Lucas Palacio to Cristia, and then Max Weiland on the Magic Kart. Little gap to Antonino and Nybert.
You look forward, and again, you were saying it right, Max Cristia, Max Weiland a whole lot closer to Lucas Palacio. Just been slowly kind of working together, right, getting back up to the MPG Academy Kart Republic of Lucas Palacio here as they get into the straightaway. And now Weiland going to be the first one to try and take the fight of Palacio as he's going for second in a turn number 8. Max Weiland clear for second, and that's going to bring Antonino Nybert back into play. Dupuis, keep an eye on him. He's going to be 6th. Travis Pettit as well, 7th. And that's a huge gap back. I think Pettit lost a couple to Murphy and Gulseth. And indeed, Murphy, Gulseth, both of the Ryan Perry Motorsports machines able to get by on Travis Pettit.
Yeah, now as we check back in with Santian's group, new faces joining. How about the 899, Benja Fernandez. Long road to start to get on stream now as that group is watching this pass here. Gulseth passed on his teammate in Murphy, but Benja there in the black suit had to claw his way up through the field in the heats and the superheat. Now he finds himself inside the top 15 comfortably with Tyrone Jr. behind him. looking to find a way past Valentino, 2 Floridians, then Kemper, and then Woon, and then a gap to Katowski. The driver involved was Robert Lash. My mistake there, I saw the 2 on the side. It was the 832 machine, Lash and Berghofer. They have since continued a good ways back from the end of the field. So all still remain on the circuit, all 34K juniors, as we put 6 laps in the books. And now it is 5 of the 34 at the front. Palacio still your leader, but Weiland's up to 2nd, and Christia was 3rd. Now he'll go back to 4th, maybe 5th. Nybert trying to get past. He does. Christia will let him in.
Yeah, Christia just had to brush the brakes there to let Oliver Nybert right on through. And again, Nybert going to get himself to 4th as you look for the lead. Weiland, again, he wasted no time on going on Max Christia. We'll see if Weiland wants to take control of this race over Lucas Palacio. That'd be the first lead change of this race. That would really be the first lead change in KA Junior for quite some time, as Palacios, again, we saw it in the Super Heat, we saw it in Heat 2. He's been really, really good in the 100cc package this weekend. We'll see what it looks like for Max Weiland. Going to get a push from Antonino, maybe, on the front stretch. As they work their way through, we start lapping them right. 15 laps to go in KA Junior.
Side by side in a big moment there. Max Weiland down the inside of John Antonino, or Antonino trying to go to the inside of him, I should say. No change, but a gap opens once again for Lucas Palacio. But as expected, back on the standard layout, it's a much tougher breakaway.
Working their way through here, Oliver Nybert side by side with Max Weiland. Nybert going up and over the curb. He's going to stay in 4th. Christia still holding on there in the 5th spot. And this is where we're seeing Lucas Palacio start to flourish a little bit. We'll see what that lap time looked like. And again, we did see battling for 2nd, which is why we saw that little bit of change, that little bit of spread is now further back. And look at this huge contact. Ashton Woon, Benja Fernandez, Valentino Santillan all out in turn number 11.
We saw them battling moments earlier, and now that group has lost a lot of time because of it. Tyrone Kemper Jr. Gets away from it all. Nico Katowski now gets promoted to 11th, but they're 7/10 apart and 5+ seconds back from this group up at the front. So we've lost, sadly, a few of our major contenders, and there could be yellow flags for the main group when they get back to the last turn. It'll take a moment to clear the track and reset the barriers. And there it is, yellow flag at turn 10. No passes allowed here now as they try to clear the circuit up. You can see from the impact how much that line of barriers have been moved. And that's something that you can kind of gauge as you climb the hill. You can see the exit of the corner looking ahead and take advantage of, because you know that the more track out you can use, the more speed you can carry through the turn, and then that leads your run all the way down the main straight to the cars in front. You saw quite a few drivers there taking advantage of that, running right up to the edge of the wall. But we've seen these walls also end many drivers' days this weekend already here, Caleb, in those heat races. They are treacherous.
Yeah, and as you're kind of talking about that, right, the Trackhouse Motorplex officials have been really good of moving those back to the original spots throughout the races. So, again, if you go by one lap and the barriers are a little bit wider, don't expect that to be the same the next time you go around. And that's why we see, I think, a lot of drivers, contact with the wall, incidents here and there. But that being said, so far so good. It looks like those barriers were able to get fixed up. So we're back to full racing action. Yellow flags going to go away that time by. And again, the battling up front, still very tame. A lot like what we saw in Microsoft, right? This middle stage of the race is very calm, very relaxed. But lap 15, that's really where it starts. That's where you put yourself in the position to try and be, in a spot to fight for a race win here.
Yeah, this is starting to show us now who is going to be a factor for the Grand National Championship trophy. We're at the point in the race, getting the cross flags this time from Porter. 11 down, 11 to go, and the field spread as far as it is, that the speed, the setup change you made, the anticipation for the sticker tires, whether or not it pays off is on full display. And then, of course, we'll get to the later stages of the event where, once again, the battles will open up. Now, the battles are still definitely raging on here in the middle of the field, and one of our biggest movers is that driver right there, Jose Alejandro Halfin in the 836. He rolled from 29th on the grid. He is already up now a plethora of spots. P13 at the moment as he leads Jaramillo. Kai Mars there in the white helmet for Timmy Tech, and Jackson Gibson there. That is a huge improvement with a lot of laps left. But unfortunately for Jose, the leaders are playing this one conservatively and staying in line behind what appears to be the fastest driver, even still with the regular layout tightening the field, Lucas Palacio. He has been the car to beat all weekend. Did that put a target on his back? Are they going to really, disproportionately put their focus on him when the battles eventually open up for the top spot, because they know he could at any moment open the gap more than the others around them? That's something that when you have the race, get single file, calm down like this, you start weighing out your options. When you hear the drivers in the interviews, and you've heard it plenty of times when you've asked them for thoughts on the race, they don't always give you a whole lot of variance in the answers. The first answer instantly is get through the start, get through the opening laps, and then see. This is the then see part. This is when they can go, okay, here's where I'm at, here's what I need to have happen, here's what I can control to make happen, and how do the drivers around me look at this point, because we're starting to see the lap times drop and consistency also play a factor. Who's hitting their marks really well? Who looks comfortable? Who doesn't? Am I better leading or following? Murphy, he feels better leading, at least this group, as he makes that pass stick there on Nathan Golset. That's P6 on your screen.
Yeah, and going back on that point as well, right, in the case of Max Christie, he was really good when he was up in front, and then when you saw him kind of following in the 5th spot for a little bit, 4th as well, and you see where he's kind of gotten himself to now, right, just lost a little bit of touch, fell back, and now he's about to fall under fire here to Tristan Murphy, Nathan Golseth, Dupuis, in that group as well. So Max Christie is going to be in trouble here this lap whenever they do get up there. And I tell you what, these guys that we just saw, Weiland, Nyberg, Antonino, they're all going to be in trouble if they can't really settle down and like you said, settle into that and then see and try and get to Palacio, because they were getting close. They were right there. And again, just a little move like that for a second opens up the gap again. And Palacio's, now the pendulum swings back to his side to try and pull away from the rest of the field.
Yeah, this is a big turning point here in this main, unfolding in front of our eyes at the lead group. This pack here, so far back, it's not going to matter too much who leads it in terms of whether or not they have a chance at the top 4 spots. That's going to be all up for grabs for the cars in front of them. They can continue to fight, or they could stay single file. Being 3 seconds away, you're not going to close the gap with the experience and results we've already seen put on display by all the drivers at the front of the field. As now Christia continued to slide backwards. Travis Pettit able to get the better of him there at the exit of turn 8. And sadly, unlike his Kart Republic teammates there on the same chassis brand, 2 different camps, Jay Howard Driver Development and MPG Motorsports, the 2 teams fielding those go-karts here this weekend in our top 10 right now. Christia's machine not quite as strong, it appears, as Antonino's or especially Lucas Palacio. But like we were saying, this was the biggest gap. This is that dangerous point of the race for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Lucas last time by a 49.50, Max Weiland a 49.56. Now Max made his move in turn 8. That turn, albeit the easiest to get a move done, is also the worst in terms of time lost compared to any other passing zone on the circuit, at least any of the traditional ones. Turn 11 hurts a bit. It's okay. Turn 1 the same because they both lead onto big straights. But turn 4 is at the highest speed on the racetrack, so the draft can pull you in even deeper, and it's a short run to get back onto the brakes at the run into turn 5 and then turn 6. So by making that move there, that's what really opened this gap up and now has given a chance for Lucas to break away. And John Antonino, perfectly done right there. Turn 4, trying to minimize the damage. He gave Max a chance to lead him. They lost time. Now he's like, okay, give me a shot. I think I can get to him. We're on the same stuff. I got to see the data. We traded intel on setup, on driving, on everything. Is it going to be enough for John Antonino to not just match Lucas? Now he's going to need to be better than him because he is well without the draft at this point. And we've got just a handful of laps remaining. 17 laps in the books. Lucas Palacio has led them all, and it's 1 second now up in front of the field.
And I tell you what, that was a smart move out of John Antonino. They're looking at the lap times. They were a tenth slower with Max Weiland at the lead of that second group. And now we'll see what Antonino can do, right? Leading this group, trying to get up to his teammate, right? Chasing that rabbit, if you will, trying to get up there. And again, it's just a matter of time, but we're getting close to the stage, to the closing stage of this race. We are in them now. And my biggest question here is, did they fight too much, in that middle stage of the race? Because it's hard, right, to try and close down a 1 second gap to the leader who's been you know, had a hand up, has been a step up from everybody else. You know, can they get there?
It's so tough. It's so tough to be in the spot of Oliver, of Max, of John, of trying to decide who's the best suited driver to lead, because someone might be better at lap 13. They were in second. And in the case of Weiland, right, you think, all right, I'm stronger. I can lead us forward. And then you get to the front, and as the race wears on, the speed kind of starts to taper off for yourself compared to the race leader. And we're seeing that now. He put in a 49.6. So did Antonino, albeit, and a 49.5 still holding strong here pace-wise for young Lucas Palacio. So the gap stays at a full second. But you only had, again, 2 passes, 2 moves. It wasn't a big battle. It wasn't a massive scrum. 1 pass in turn 8, and then a pass back by Antonino in turn 4, and the pressure is on. John Antonino has been able to best some of the battle packs that we've seen over this summer stretch, more than any other junior driver, I believe. But he's going to need to show speed to make that happen here today. And that wasn't enough that lap. 200ths off. A game of centimeters, of millimeters, corner by corner, is the difference right now from Lucas Palacio's speed to Antonino. And again, Palacio's even better really than that, because John is getting the benefit of a big shove from Weiland on every major straightaway. Lucas is showing these lap times all by himself.
And I mean, this is shades, right, of 2023 when Lucas Palacio was that mini Swift driver to beat every single weekend. When you win a Stars, USPKS SCUSA, Lucas Palacio, the Trinity Karting Group, Kart Republic at the time, was the car to beat, you know, across the classes. And you're seeing that again here in junior, right, picking up. And this weekend, again, it's been some growing pains in the junior class like we saw in 2024. 2025, I mean, he came out swinging at the Winter Series, and then you look here, we're almost at the end of the year for Palacio, where he got wins over in Europe, and here this year in junior and in X30, he's been the car to beat once again. And again, this is exactly why the opportunities came the way of Lucas Palacio for drives like this.
Yeah, one of the most highly regarded up-and-coming talents here in North American motorsports, Lucas Palacio. And now we're seeing a pass there for second and a pass further back as well. Weiland goes back on by Antonino. Oliver Nybert, this is a weekend that may not result in a win, but it will be finally all of the speed that he's shown, a result to match it over the last few races we've gotten to watch that young man with the Vortiz competition, Red Speed. It's a very small team here based at Trackhouse Motorplex, led by Sergio Campos and crew, and they are on tap for a podium and maybe a vice champion spot as the battle begins here on this final lap. Weiland covering low in turn 4. Palacio out and away by over a second and a half. Headed to 6th for the final time.
Here we go. Antonino still looking to go on Max Weiland. Max Weiland, bottom of the racetrack. Nybert looking high and a little too high as he makes contact with John Antonino. Weiland stays there in second.
Into 9, final time. High and low there in the fight for second. Palacio takes the final look over the shoulder. It's been a beautiful race, a perfect display. Lucas Palacio dominates the K Junior Main Event. And behind him, Max Weiland hangs on for second, Antonino third, Nybert fourth, and Tristan Murphy completes the top 5 at the Grand National Championship podium over Nathan Dupuis and Nathan Golseth. Max Christia gets one over on Travis Pettit, and look at the run here to the line. Jose Halfen, he'll end up 16th. Caught that group, had a massive charge to get there. Martin Jaramillo also up a handful of spots from 21st. Tyrone Kemper Jr. able to end up 11th from going forward, then back. And Nico Katowski up 8 spots from 18th on the grid to close out your top 10. A little ways back for that main group we followed throughout the race. In the middle, Nathan Dupuis, Golseth, Murphy, Christia, and Travis Pettit. And onwards we roll through the day's action here. Only a few DNFs. Sadly, Ashton Woon couldn't make it to the end. Problems for the SCR, Carlos Sainz driver, Robert Lash, Valentino Santina, Benja Fernandez. But Lucas Palacio, a flag-to-flag display of dominance, scores him the K Junior Grand National Championship.
Lucas, what an absolute drive out of you out there. You're an IAME Grand National Champion by 3 seconds. Tell me what that win took.
It just took a lot of pace. I knew I was going to be really fast. Just needed to defend at the beginning, get a gap, and then, yeah, I got the gap. I laid down the quality laps that I needed to do, and, yeah, I got that win.
Did you do anything different to prepare for this race since it's so big?
Not really. I just went as fast as I could at the beginning, and, yeah, I got that gap and won.
Is there anyone in the crowd today that you'd like to thank?
I'd like to thank my dad for mechanicking for me this weekend. All of MPG, my mom, my brother, and yeah, everybody that I know.
Good job.
Thank you.
Celebrations can begin for the K8 Junior Championship podium as they get ready to roll through the weigh scales and post-tech inspection. We'll be back with more action here from Trackhouse. K Senior up next.
Hey guys, it's Lucas Nogueira here, and today we're going to talk about some cool features that Race Studio 3 has that people normally don't know about it. And the first thing is how to check the weather between 2 sessions on Race Studio 3, okay? So here, I got a comparison with Orlando on the Rotax, and if you look on the bottom left, I have the weather showing my ambient temperature, pressure, humidity, and even the wind direction and wind speed. And then I have this from 1 week of the Rotax Winter Trophy, and then the second week was a bit hotter. So we kind of know how the carburation will change when the weather changes. And to be able to get this, all you gotta do is when you are on Race Studio 3, you come up here and you're logging into your account. You gotta create an account on the AIM website and just log in. If you log in and have internet on, it will pull the weather from the previous year of sessions that you have. All right, so we got a second nice feature that a lot of people don't know about, which is the track map coming from Google on the background. So if you just connect your computer to the internet, you can come up here and click on this Google Earth icon, and it will pull the background from the Google Earth into your GPS data. So normally it's very well aligned, and you can see if the driver is hitting the apex, changing his line. But if it's not aligned, you can change which server you are using. So right here we are in Quaker City, it's a brand new track. If I change from Google to Bing, you'll see that I don't even have a track there because it's a brand new track and Bing hasn't updated. So if yours is not aligned, all you gotta do is change to a different server here. I've been using Google so far and it works pretty well.
You know, I'm
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. IAME USA Grand National Championship action with the biggest field on the day. 50 drivers ready to get after it here for KA100 Senior. And let's set the grid for you. Paulie Massimino, 3-time shootout winner. Already got $4K in the bank. And he's looking for another $4,000 payday here with this one alongside Caden McQueen's first IAME USA Grand National Championship appearance. Zachary Clayman-DeMello puts 2 Velocity Racing Sodi karts in the first 2 rows from 3rd, and it'll be Caleb Gaffera, last night's MG Tires X30 Shootout winner, rolling to his outside in 4th.
Go back to Colin Lloyd and Blake Nash on row number 3, Oliver Piatek and Alessandro Tullio on row number 4.
Connor Ferris and Enzo Vidmontien roll back from them, and then it's James Overbeck, Edgar Rodriguez, Frankie Mossman, and Peyton Phillips, 2 drivers that have shown speed this weekend. Forrest Adams, Mick Gabriel, Jared Clark, Chase Cassiat Lee, Finn Bailiff, and Mateo Pappas in your first 10 rows. And we go back to the final half of the field.
Austin Garrison, actually the driver starting on pole. He didn't populate there on our...
there we go. Yeah, I see they just must have been a transponder change. It'll update looking at alpha timing. That is, I believe, the one that's shown there at the bottom.
I was confused there for a second. Yeah.
It'll update now here as we get ready to roll. It'll be Garrison on the left, Massimino on the right. We're ready for it. 50 deep. Hopefully you are as well. Austin Garrison in the black, white, and red. Carlos Sainz, Speed Concepts Racing Machine. Paulie Massimino in the blue and white. For Brandon Jarstrak Racing, let's go in KA Senior. Oh, and around Colin Lloyd in front of the field. From the inside, the 961 gets pounded by one kart going by, and that has just broken this pack completely up. A 5-driver breakaway as they rocket through turn 4. Garrison leads to McQueen, Massimino in third. They were side by side there for fourth. Gafera winning out over DeMello, and then it's Mossman from way back up to 6 now ahead of James Overbeck and Jared Clark there. Great start for the young man there in 7th. Cash Perkins, the rookie, to the inside of Sam Mavrutsky. And then the rest of the field, 2 by 2 through turn 8, then back to single file if they can by turn 9. Your leaders headed up the hill, 1 lap coming to the close, and it's Massimino on the charge already. Gets by McQueen there in turn 11 for P2.
Yeah, Paulie's wasting absolutely no time to make up some spots here. Again, he started on the outside, and again, that's going to be difficult right here at Trackhouse Motorplex. Drivers on the inside line just able to go right by him, and again, for him to get back up there in first, him and Austin Garrison talked before this race, and they just want to get up to the front. They just want to break away because they feel like they're the 2 fastest drivers on the racetrack. Caden McQueen, again, he was very close with Paulie throughout the day yesterday. We'll take a look back at the start here. A couple of drivers out of line, and you see Paulie just not a good start at all. Caleb G, Caden McQueen able to go through, and Colin Lloyd just gets spun around. I think he really just got touched on the wrong side of that rear bumper, spun him around, and Edgar Rodriguez just right into the side of him there.
This time by, up the hill we go. Austin Garrison, your leader, over Paulie Massimino. And now it's Massimino at the end of lap 2, updating on the left side, out in front. The driver back there in 9th, updating there was Cash Perkins, actually, with the transponder change that threw us for a loop. With the top 5 with a gap. Massimino leading now, Mossman leading the next group. Here's Massimino's teammates trying to make some hay. James Overbeck and Jared Clark couldn't quite complete the move, but it's Mossman now in the middle of a BJR sandwich. 7th, 6th, and 8th, and they've got plenty of room out back to Blake Nash and company. Look at this, Alessandro DiTullio wasting no time trying to charge up the grid. Terrible moment for him in the superheat yesterday. Contact with Caden McQueen off the start. He was not happy about it at all, and it's put him in a long way away from the lead here to the early going of this main, but he's going in the right direction. Started 17th, he's now up to 11th, and as they fight again up front, that'll just make things a little easier. Clark finally by on Mossman.
Yeah, Clark tried it already a couple of times, finally able to get it done there in a turn number 1. So Jared Clark going to work with James Overbeck now to try and get themselves up to that lead group. Here's how they I'm shaking out after lap 1. Jared Clark up 11 spots from the start. James Overbeck 7, Frankie Mossman 8, Chris Harrower 14 spots gained at the start. The BJRLN carts absolutely moving in the opening stages of this race.
Edgar Rodriguez sadly to the tail for a moment, and he didn't make it out of lap number 1, I believe. Or no, out of 40th, sorry, of our 49. Actually, we did keep them all, even with the contact. We'll try and take a look back as things maybe settle here in a moment or two at the start and break down what happened to Colin Lloyd and took out one of the 3 serious contenders from the Velocity Racing Sodi camp for this race win. Thankfully, though, for their sake, 2 still remain. ZCD in 3rd there in the 913, and Caden McQueen in the 942 in 4th, all following the driver who has been the car to beat in KA100 Senior every time we go to this circuit, especially on the natural layout, Paulie Massimino. But Austin Garrison wasn't there in the KA class to bring the fight to him earlier this year. He's a new addition. Neither was ZCD. Neither was McQueen in the Sodi camp. And, of course, Caleb Gafera was, and he wants some redemption. He qualified pole here in May, only to end up 3rd when the dust settled behind Massimino and Overbeck. 5 now down. Long way still ahead of us here in this 22-lap main for KA100 Senior.
Yeah, speaking of Austin a little bit yesterday, he just wanted to push Paulie, and I don't think he can wait for too long behind Paulie because now Zach wants to split him up, wanted to go up to 2nd. You saw Zach, again, as soon as he got to Caden McQueen, even then, those two of those teammates, right, he passed him, got himself up to third, so I don't think he's going to sit around and push Austin Garrison for too long.
And that's a great talking point, right? Paulie and Austin worked great through both of their super heats, and after the points they shook out, still in the same both of the heats, and then in the super heat they worked together. DeMello hasn't been on track with either one of them since we qualified. So for ZCD and Caden McQueen, this is kind of new territory, and they're getting a feel and a gauge for the other half of the field that was on track while they were on the grid or in the scale lines to this point. First real meeting of the overall contenders here in the class, and 5 of them remain in lockstep up front. Little gap again from DeMello to McQueen, and the gap's only going to open as they fight again behind. It looked like there was a move maybe for Jared Clark passing James Overbeck. We've talked about the speed, and here it is on display. Mark the 916 to position number 6 now. He can almost taste that big opportunity as there was a nice sign of sportsmanship there. Frankie Moss and Blake Nash changing spots easily into 8. And now here's a change for second. DeMello gets the pass finally done there in turn 9. Austin Garrison says, okay, thumbs up to that one. You got it. Let's see what we got here. Warning flag, 928 machine. That's a little further down the board. Going to be right in the middle of the scrum of it all as we try to find out what the officials were referencing. A good ways back through the middle of the pack there for a warning flag. Nothing up front, though. That was Forrest Adams for Brandon Jarskak Racing. He's up to 13th here from 17th on the grid, getting the ire of the officials.
Yeah, we tune back in here with the front, only a cart length in between ZCD, and again, we've kind of seen this trend ongoing, right? He got to Caden, he made that move. He got to Austin, 2 laps, okay, made the move. I'm not going to be surprised. When he gets to Paulie, he's going to get up there up front. He's going to make that move, and again, I think we're going to see that in the next 2 laps here. Needs a lap to really close in, and the next one, he needs that next lap really to try and decide where to make that move, where it's going to be smartest to go. We've seen turn number 8. You lose some time there. Turn number 4, one of the best passing zones here.
Austin Garrison's been able to reset here over the last lap, having to go wide as DeMello got by. And once again, Caden McQueen just losing a little bit to the top 3. And now Caleb Gafera seeing that, goes by in 4. And I'm not sure where exactly that little bit of speed isn't quite there yet, or maybe there at all here for Caden. But he doesn't seem as strong as the 4 in front.
Yeah, I spoke to him a little bit last night. They took a long time to really get that engine kind of sorted for him. I'm not sure if that was carburation, but it's something engine related. And even at the start of this race, he was adjusting on the needles. So to me, everything's been signaling and pointing toward just really the lack of carburation for him, or just a little bit of a mishap for on their side, right, with his carburation on Caden McQueen's side.
Yeah, you just saw him down the front stretch there even shake his head a little bit, not having the power maybe he needs to fight for the race win. He's going to try his best here to stay with them. He's got a gap. We got a big contact. This is huge. Turn 4. Multiple drivers into the wall. One already off to the inside. One of the Arcane Tony Karts. Rubio Luengo and the BJR. Oh, man, they were running right. Well, that was the previous lap, I believe, as well. Rubio Luengo and Hamza Anbar, they were around the upper 20s. Frankie Mossman there pointing to Tulio by further back as this 3-pack is starting to make some serious inroads towards the 5 leaders. Jared Clark, James Overbeck, and Blake Nash, who is on a tear, was not a good start for the California native from 8th. He has since rebounded very nicely here, and now is following the group up towards the lead. Look at this. Oh, man.
Santi Fernandez in that one as well. And it really looked like Rubio Luengo was just a passenger in that one. The same for Hamza Anbar. So there was contact in between 2 other drivers. And looking to avoid the incident, Luengo just stuck on the dirty side of the racetrack, plows into the wall.
Luca Brancati was the Ryan Perry Motorsport Tony Kart there on the top of Fernandez. So the 2 of them colliding just ahead of Rubio and Anbar, and nowhere to go. Track blocks real quick there in the highest speed section of the circuit. CCD's been pretty patient, although he was quick to want to get to second. And he is in the exact same spot where he was heading into the final few laps when he won 2 weeks ago at the U.S. Pro Kart Series finale, where Paulie was focused on just trying to bring the championship home in K100. He left the door open in the Cell Tower hairpin, and DeMello, after getting to second, took advantage and took the win by the time we got back to the stripe. He's now right there following that same driver here, with an opportunity to try and continue to build on the gap they've started to make over Caleb Gafera. Last time by, Gafera lost a 10th and a half. he's lost his help in Caden McQueen after going by him, and he's going to need some movement up at the front, or maybe some of the drivers behind that got speed to get to him. Jared Clark is on the way. He's closing in. Problems for Mateo Pappas. Big contact, turn 7.
Huge off for Mateo Pappas there. As, again, we'll hope he's all right, but your top 3 just working their way forward. And again, just looking at the hands here of Caleb Gaffera, he looks like he's just kind of more busy than the drivers in the top 3, right? You see them driving very, very smooth outside of CCD. I mean, in turn number 1, a couple of inputs for him on the steering wheel there, Xander. But again, what are these guys feeling out there? Just looking at it visibly, right? It looked very smooth out of Paulie, out of Austin, out of ZCD as well.
Well, for both of them, they're able to really dial things back and drive at 70 or 80% because the draft and the speed off of Paulie Massimino is what's going to keep towing them along and make it very, very easy to take it easy and still stay in the lead group and pull away. So for them, they're not having to even drive to the limit because they're braking sooner. For Caleb Gaffera, he's got to push and try to find it, and you always run the risk of going over the limit, and maybe that was the case there as we see Caden McQueen go backwards, and we have an update as well down on pit lane. What do you have for us, Haley?
Yeah, I spoke with Blake Nash before this race, and he told me about some carb troubles and some greed troubles that he was having. They made a couple swaps overnight, and now they're ready to go put on a show for us.
So again, talking about the horsepower, as much as the draft can tow you along, it can only do so much, and especially when the field is lined up as they are. See Caleb Gaffera with a nice and healthy gap out front, and Caden McQueen on the other hand just continuing to slide backwards with the speed not quite being there. If they battle, it doesn't necessarily matter, but even with the slipstream, when you're in it, it can only help you so much. McQueen was able to stay with it because he had Caleb pushing him along in the opening couple laps, and Caleb waited for the right opportunity to try and go by him, and maybe he waited a tick too long because now the lead trio are more than a second away from Caleb G, who is looking to, at minimum, end up on the podium for the second consecutive day with that X30 shootout win already on his accolades now. But it's going to be a tall order to try and track down this group because they are not moving at all. DeMello happy to push as Massimino continues to do what you'll find him doing here at this place multiple days a week, making laps around Trackhouse Motorplex. You will be hard-pressed to find a single mistake. And while it's easy, like I said, for DeMello and Garrison because they have to brake earlier than normal with Paulie in front of them, to just underdrive a bit, let the draft pull them down the next straight. But for Paulie, he hasn't put a wheel wrong. He might have a moment incoming. You saw DeMello point on the front stretch. Does he go right here?
I think he might. He's looking inside of turn number 4, and again, call this shot on the front stretch. Zachary claiming DeMello going to lead this field, and I tell you what, Paulie looked very strong as well throughout that last half of the lap prior, so I think ZCD might have felt that, again, it was time for him to take control over this race, and he did just that there, right? He's going to, again, he did driver first up to defend. That is if Paulie doesn't pass him back.
For Paulie Massimino and Austin Garrison, Garrison's now had a few laps to see DeMello in action. Paulie has not, at least from the driver's seat, so I would think he's going to wait maybe a moment because you still have time on the board. 16 laps down, 6 laps to go. You can take a minute to just wait and see if there's anywhere that you've got a weak spot or a strength in comparison to the 913, and then if you want to go right back to the lead, you can. See DeMello making a quick carburetor adjustment at the end of the straight, trying to find a little more. Behind him, Caleb Gaffera's got company now. Jared Clark has charged his way onto the provisional podium in 5th with help from Blake Nash, and he has got the next driver in his targets. Let's see if Caleb Gaffera comes under pressure here in turn 8. Not quite yet. Clark is close. You saw a little wiggle on the brakes. He's sizing him up here, and we'll see probably a move any minute now with 5 laps to go. This time by, DeMello still leads. Massimino second. Little gap to Garrison for third. Nothing there in 11. Trying to keep tabs on both battles as they continue to build up. And we wait for it all. DeTulio further back. Here it is for 4th. Clark is by. Jared Clark continues this impressive march from 19th on the lineup. Jared Clark now finds himself P4 with a big gap to the lead, but it's not insurmountable if they fight. And with 3 of them, and with Mr. Excitement himself, Zachary Clement DeMello in the mix, you never know.
Yeah, we'll see how it all plays out as now Jared Clark going for a move, and Paulie Massimino back to the lead in turn number 8. And again, it's just a matter of taking control, matter of being in control, and that's what we're seeing out of Paulie here. That's what we saw out of Zach as well whenever he went up to the lead of the race. Austin Garrison just sitting passenger right in third. If anything, that's probably the best spot to be once we get to the final stages of this race. We're getting close to the end. 4 laps to go, and you saw Zach, again, just give another signal to Austin Garrison on that front stretch. I don't know if he's going to want to push. I don't know if that meant push or if that meant go again in turn number 4. Austin, for the moment, hasn't gone, try to go for second, along with Zach whenever he has been making those moves. He's been sitting patient, content with third, and in my opinion, that's really the best spot to be here, Xander.
I think so. I mean, he's not worked those tires hardly at all, being able to ride third in the line, brake twice as early as DeMello, or twice as early as Paulie, as there's contact. Blake Nash hops the tire with Gafera, and things have opened up here in the middle group. Caden McQueen by. Overbeck setting him up. Nothing there. And Jared Clark gets a nice bit of breathing room now in 4th. All by his lonesome. Headed to the line. 19 laps complete now. 3 laps to go. 3 drivers at the front. Paulie Massimino, Zachary Clayman DeMello, Austin Garrison. I mentioned again DeMello was in this exact position 2 weeks ago, but Paulie was focused on the championship at hand. There's no championship here. It's all about the main event and the winner's trophy. And Paulie would love to bring it and continue to build on the one he already scored this weekend in the KA shootout. Warning flag there for that moment we saw moments ago with Blake Nash in this corner, turn 8. So the battle continues, maybe for him, for McQueen and crew, or do they line up to get to Jared Clark one more time? They'll only have one chance, one way to go with it, because we're getting down to the end. 3 to go, now at the line, 20 laps complete, 2 to go indeed, double sticks out.
And you saw Paulie just checking over the shoulder as we got to the front stretch. Again, Jared Clark, don't count him out just yet. He sits 4th, only 3 seconds back. This is gonna help Jared Clark out a huge chunk, as now Paulie to the bottom to defend from Zachary Clayman DeMello. You saw Austin open up as well there, looking to set up an over-under, and this is where it gets close. It all comes down to this, the last lap and a half here at Trackhouse Motorplex, anybody's game.
Nice and low for Paulie and DeMello. Garrison tried to set up for maybe a crossover. It wasn't there. Into 9, Paulie will cover it tight. That'll bottleneck them all. Here comes Jared Clark. 2.7 seconds back last time by. What will the gap be to the top 3 when they get to the line? White flag in the air. Paulie covered nice in 11. He'll be vulnerable down the front stretch. DeMello follows him low. Garrison moves up, 1 to go.
Garrison moved up to the high side. Look at Zachary Clayman DeMello alongside into the dirt. Garrison looking to set up an over-under again. Paulie Massimino, this is one of the biggest gaps we've seen out of him. Jared Clark side by side with Blake Nash for 4th.
Big time save for ZCD. Now Garrison, all he can do is hope that DeMello can get back to Paulie, but he clipped the curb in 6, still had the dirt on the right rear tire. Into the hairpin, final time, covering low, and the gap will open. Final time, out of 8, and the pack is there, stacked up behind DeMello. Paulie Massimino had to get the elbows out on this final lap, but he should cruise to this one. And out of 11, he'll double up and win the KA Senior Grand National Championship.
Caleb Gafera way off the racetrack there in turn number 11. He's out of it, almost into the pits early. But Paulie Massimino, your winner over Zachary Clayman DeMello and Austin Garrison. Jared Clark, Blake Nash round up your podium.
Oh, what a chaotic ending there as the main group shuffled back and then combined with that second pack. Caleb Gafera, oh, contact at the back as well. The 933 into the wall. One of the Velocity Sodis, David Morales, tags the wall there. He's up and okay. Final few carts crossing the line. Paulie Massimino covered off beautifully. DeMello had just barely a nose up the hill to 3. And then once he had gone into the grass trying to stay there, he was going to be a sitting duck, and he knew it. You saw his hands very busy in turn 4 with the lack of grip, and he needed to be able to rocket through turn 6, but that left-hander leaning on the outside rear tire, just a bit out of shape, and it was all the gap that Paulie needed to win the Grand National Championship and sweep the KA Senior money-paying events here this weekend.
back there.
I've got Polly here. He swept the KA senior class this weekend. Polly, how special does this feel?
Yeah, it's really great. I mean, our KA package is unbelievable. Every race we go to, we're always up front. Obviously, this is my home track, so a little bit of an advantage, I guess, but it doesn't take away from the fact how good our package is in KA. The BBS, OTK, tuned by Brandon, it's hard to beat. You know, even a few weeks ago at Newcastle, we kind of gave that one away, but we're fast, and we're fast everywhere we go in this. So, yeah, I can't thank those guys enough, the whole BJR team. My dad, of course, he's the one on the mechanic this weekend in KA. So without him, none of this is possible. My mom, of course, my girlfriend, Brooke, her dad, Chris, BBS Racing Engines, Nexet, Offset, Odenthal, Wiggity Wayne, Poly Racing. But yeah, feels good.
You had the piece in KA. How confident are you that I'm going to be talking to you later as a winner in X30?
That one's going to be a little bit more difficult. We got put on the back foot in the Heat 1 with the unfortunate DNF. So we're going to have to come from 11th. Not impossible. Just need to figure some things out after warm-up, make a little bit of a few adjustments, a few driver things as well. But I feel confident, so we'll see how it goes.
Thank you, Polly. I'm going to scoot past you here and take us over to Jared Clark. Jared, come on back here, buddy. I've got a question for you. It's P19 to P4. How special does this drive feel, and how proud are you?
It feels great. I really didn't think I was going to be able to make it to the top 5, but I really did everything I could in the right way, and I was just so fast. I'm so happy that I made it up this far, and I want to thank everybody, BJR, BBS, my parents, everyone.
Thank you, Jared.
Thank you.
No, frenó. No fue por 5 lucas, pero...
Okay, senior track cleanup continues, and more racing does as well. We're right at the halfway mark of our main events. Mini Swift when we return here from Trackhouse.
You know, I'm really starting to like this go-karting thing. Yeah, me too. Oh my gosh, can I show you this cute dress I just got? Yes, of course. Oh my goodness, it's so cute. I just love shopping. I love shopping too. Oh my god.
Wait, did you guys say you like shopping?
Of course.
Well, dude, I have the perfect place to do that at. ShopPayCara.com. At ShopPayCara.com, you can get free shipping on orders $200 or more. You can get anything you want, like MXC rims, gloves, rib vests, shoes, anything that you need, all at ShopPayCara.com.
Who is he talking to? No idea. But we're gonna have to check it out. Sounds like a great deal. Sure does.
Cat food marketing. $9.99 a month. Dude, Caleb, wake up. Dude, we're live in 5 minutes. Let's go. Come on. What are you doing?
Dude, I'm so sorry. Xander had me in a cat food marketing meeting till like 2 a.m. last night.
Come on, man.
Do you have anything I can drink?
Dude, I got the perfect thing for you. Perico, it's a healthy energy drink alternative.
Perico, non-GMO, gluten-free, kosher, magnesium, B12, B6,
Yeah, it's good.
B5, biotin, and 0 sugar? Pericazo! Try Perico, made with natural ingredients, organic caffeine, and supports your metabolism. Try the new official energy drink of Kart Chaser.
Welcome back here on the other side of the commercial break. KA Senior just wrapped up. Mini Swift coming up next. And what better way to get ready than to relive 2023, the IAME Grand National Championship that took place here. And here's a flashback.
Yes, the third running of this event was spectacular. Cameron Marcia led the field to green for the Nitro Kart camp. And it was a side-by-side battle further back as he quickly got shuffled out of the top spot with a number of drivers you'll see here this weekend in the junior ranks. Ashton Woon in the mix. Lucas Palacio as well was one of the fastest through the heat races. And the pack stayed big. There was so many drivers that had the speed to win, the chance to win, and playing their cards right that it could have been any of them. How about Travis Pettit here with a nice move to the inside to get the lead, coming up to the run to the line, but a crossover move and a nice little shove gave Cameron Marcia the closest margin of victory of the day. A 3-wide finish, a little bit of help from Ashton Woon to get there, and an incredible performance for that young man's first career national race win. We're looking for maybe a first Mini Swift national win for a handful of these drivers that have moved up this year. Zane Burgess has already been very successful this weekend alone as he chases a Mini Swift Grand National Championship. The Paralyn driver led the field to green in the superheat off 2 very consistent heat races and backed that up with another great performance that puts him at the pointy end of the field. But when you talk about the pointy end of the field, the driver that always finds his way there has been on an unreal streak of consistent runs with hardware to check in on the bag back home. Jaden Francisco, pretty in pink and pretty on the front row in the 136.
And don't forget, those 2 drivers that we just saw, they fought for the IAME Grand National Championship last year in Micro Swift. We take a look now at Maxwell Macha. He has been one of the drivers to beat all weekend long, but incident in heat race number 2 has put him on the back foot. We'll keep an eye on him as he starts from row number 2.
Still, though, it's a great spot to fight from. It gets a little bit tougher when you go to the outside lane and work your way back. Cade Wolf, though, in that bright white Roto-Rooter Timmy Tech Cop Kart, rolling for a home race here and potentially a home run from P4. We've seen the Cop Karts already show speed and get to the lead. Both he and Holden Myers had shots at the Mini Swift Shootout win last night, but it went to that young man, Mr. Basketball Helmet himself, Lawrence Perriman, with the craziest finish of the entire weekend's 6 shootouts. And that's saying something because they were entertaining, but this young man is locked in from the inside of row number 3 as he tries to back up the $1,000 from last night with a chance at an engine and the IAME Grand National Championship here today.
Holden Myers looking to go back-to-back. He won it last year in 2024, looking to win it this year again in 2025. Himself, Cade Wolf, starting on that outside line. And you move back to the next row as we get our eye here on Colton Bruck, who's starting, again, that Paralyn, third out of the 3 that are in the top 10.
Yeah, he's on the inside of row 4. How about a new player like Colton on the inside up at the front of the field? And the same for Bryson Scales and Brandon Jarsacrack Racing. They've shown speed already and set a high bar with Paulie Massimino winning out in the KA100 Senior Main Event sessions this weekend. Behind them on the inside of row 5, Cameron Johnson on the Merlin for Nash Motorsports. He's been across the country, back forth, and last weekend back in his home state for the Route 66 Sprint Series. He's now from the inside of the 5th row, starting from P9.
And alongside him, the 124 Haynes Motorsports TB kart of Marcelo Flores. Again, this kid moved up to the Mini Swift class early. I believe only 8-9 years old for young Marcelo. He's looking to get his best career Mini Swift finish. And again, the rookie has been exciting so far this weekend.
The rookie list continues with Santi Orioli, Velocity Racing Sodi, the new home for the young man based out of Florida. And he's had a lot of sessions that may have to look like his main event here from the outside of the top 10, charging towards the front of the field. He'll have plenty of laps to do it here with 20 on the board to try and go forward. And of course, as we go back through the rest of the Mini Swift field with those final few moments to get ready to go racing, this is why the visors are down. Every single driver knows what's on the line and that the spotlight is shining on them for the next 20 minutes or less, with a prize for every finisher inside the top 5. And as we work backwards here, it only gets tougher, but you get that perspective here while you're on the grid of, okay, that's how many go-karts I've got to get past. And if I just take one per lap, even as far back as we are now, well, you could definitely end up in the lead before the checkered flag falls. But you still got to make it through the opening couple circuits. You got to get through the start. You got to not let the leaders break away. How many times, Caleb, do we watch these Mini Swift and Micro Swift races where the front of the field get their heads on and work together and build a massive margin to the rest of the pack? And we know from our seat watching lap after lap that we can almost go back to anywhere else on the circuit or take a break even, because they're going to wait, play the game until the last couple laps, ready that double sticks comes out, and then race again.
And again, we've also seen weekends, right, where we've seen some great battling out of these Mini Swift drivers. You know, more often than not, these guys and girls have been the race of the weekend, and I'm excited to see what they give us here today. It's going to be, you know, elbows out racing from start to finish out of these kids, and it's anybody's game when you think about it, right? The IAME Grand National Championship, a different feel here this weekend. We've talked about it. Like you said, no points on the line here. Just go out there and win. Simple as that.
The All-Star Weekend concluding the end of the national season summer stretch here on Labor Day weekend. It's a beautiful view here high above Trackhouse Motorplex and the 180-plus drivers in attendance and the hundreds and hundreds more here to watch the action live from Mooresville, North Carolina. This phenomenal facility now in its 5th year of putting on the IAME USA Grand National Championship in partnership with the U.S. Pro Kart Series staff. The race director Blake Hunt leading a number of the officials here to help put on the show. And of course the support from IAME USA East and MG Tires, making a $70,000 plus cash and prize package up for grabs across these 6 divisions, and they will deliver with still 3 main events on tap, folks. The Mini Swifts, again, as we focus there on the grid, are ready to go for their 20-lap main. It'll then be followed up by the X30 Juniors, the next class up on the ladder, and then we'll conclude the afternoon's on-track activity with X30 Pro for 25 laps and $5,000 along with the Grand National Championship trophy. Here's a look spread out across the 20 drivers here for the Mini Swift field, at least your first 10 indeed. Zane Burgess and Francisco, as we talked about, and as we give some kudos to the names further onwards. Camila Canache starts alongside Orioli. It's Colton Schniegenberg and Pasha Ali back on row 7. Gabriel Salza and Paxton Romero back on row 8. Axel Garcia and Isaac Carvalho back on row 9. Lucas Bertagna and Ruben Greer back on row number 10. They'll both, again, be looking to hope for what you described, Caleb, that battle pack at the front to give them time to work through the field and get there. And starting from the rear, probably one of the more notable stories of the lineups for today. Liam Nachawati will have to roll from the back of the grid outside of row number 12. He ran at the front through the heats. He's had the speed to contend for the win. He's sat on the pole, and he's won multiple Mini Swift main events in a limited American schedule already this year. His work is definitely going to be cut out for him, though, today.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on, again, it doesn't look like Nachawati is joining us here.
Yeah.
Don't see him out there on the racetrack, so wow. Yeah, unfortunate for Liam Nachawati as one driver around there in the back.
Just took a minute there to leave the grid there as we got a spinner, one of the LN karts around. Nachawati, we're hearing, is going to be leaving the grid here in a moment. Isaac Carvalho slowing in turn 4. Chaos all around on the outlap.
And not good for those drivers there. And here's a look further back as Liam Nachawati about to roll through here in turn. He's about to get to turn number 6. And there he is, just on the bottom right-hand side of your screen, going to join the field. And again, a lot of work to do for that kid to work his way back up to where he ended the day yesterday.
We'll have to wait a moment to get them all filed back, double up all the way for 12 rows. And the quick scramble to get the 155 of Paxton Romero back into position. He'll get there, as well as Carvalho. And we have set the stage once again. Main event number 4 of 6. Mini Swift ready to go from Trackhouse Motorplex. We look for the green, and it will not happen this time around. Porter was quick to say, we do not look good enough to get this one going. You saw him shaking his head here, and they were not even yet to the timing loop.
Yeah, very good point out of him. You know, we're not just waving those green flags just because. We got to make sure everything's safe to go and everybody's kind of gridded up properly as well. And again, we saw a lot of those drivers kind of late to get out there, and seeing something different here this time around. Everybody getting ready to go. And again, Jaden looking to sweep the cadet categories for the Francisco family. His cousin, Liam, already able to get one. And again, if you look back to a couple of weeks ago, Jaden's cousin, Liam's brother, Tristan Francisco, was able to win over at the Canadian National Championships over in Canada. And again, this could be a huge end to the summer stretch for the Franciscos, and we'll keep an eye on it here. But Zane Burgess going to lead them to green. He was exciting last year in Micro Swift. He's been exciting this year in Mini Swift. And again, Francisco and Burgess fought in 2024. We'll see if either of them can finally get there first.
20 laps, put it on the board. Here we go, Zane Burgess and Jaden Francisco, one class up, and the same faces get ready to lead the field to green. Again, last year's underdog winner, Holden Myers, with an incredible move to pull it off. Rolling from the outside of the third row, a chance to go back to back. Just as we talked about earlier with former Grand National champs in the field. A slow driver further back, one of the Paralympians, I believe, trying to catch up, but we've got them underway at the front. We're racing in Mini Swift.
Zane Burgess with a good start. The same for Maxwell Macha early on to get himself to the lead. Jaden Francisco just stuck on the outside here. He's going to slot back in the line in fourth as they're going side by side. Bruck all out of shape there as we go into turn number 6.
Colton Bruck able to get back into line though, and now he'll get closer to the leaders as they trade the top spot. Maxwell to the lead. Lawrence Perriman with some newfound confidence here on Sunday going into second. And behind, Bruck now under fire. Myers and Wolf, a 1-2 punch from Timmy Tech through turn 9. I don't know if Cade will be able to get it done in 11. He's still there as up front. Lawrence Perriman wants to lead at the end of the opening lap, and he will, to the cheer of the crowd across the straightaway. Zane Burgess into second, Francisco third, and Holden Myers slips through it into fourth once again, finding his way to pick the pack apart. But again, they'll scatter down the backstretch. Francisco wants second. Burgess drives him all the way to the grass, and he gets way out of shape. Jaden Francisco now backwards 2-3 positions into turn number 5.
Holden Myers is able to get himself through. And I tell you, one of the biggest things that I've seen change overnight for Lawrence Perriman, confidence. That's the biggest thing. And you see him driving out there that first lap, making moves with confidence. Is now Orioli, move on Jaden Francisco, who continues to lose spots here. Schniegenberg well in play, Carvalho right there as well as Scales, another one of the BJRLN karts.
He's still not out of the fray quite yet, but if Maxwell Macha and Zane Burgess will not work together, he might have a chance to get away on his own. Here's a look at the replay from just a moment ago. Burgess driving Francisco all the way down to the grass. Jaden didn't want to touch it, and at the same point, it's so dirty down there, and backing out when he had a bumper to the inside left him really vulnerable. Look at the gap, though, how quickly it closed for the lead. It was 3 car lengths at the straight, and now it's back to back 3 spots for Lawrence, P4. New leader, Macha into the infield.
I tell you what, Xander, we're already starting to kind of set the tone for the race. I'm really thinking we're going to see an absolute dogfight for the win here as Holden Myers in 8 gets sideways, out of shape. Cade Wolf has to pick a lane here. He's going to pick the one with his teammate in it. And again, Perriman just able to slot back in the line, and now they're starting to point forward. A couple of the kids out of North Carolina, right, just signaling forward, trying to get up there. And again, we've seen the speed out of Maxwell Macha. We've seen the speed out of Zane Burgess. Not of the Paralympians, just point blank in the Mini Swift class. They cannot let these two get away.
Yeah, to Zane Burgess' credit, he's quickly toned the aggression back and realized the opportunity at hand with Maxwell Macha wanting to lead, refusing to follow him, saying, okay, fine, we'll get away with you in front. I don't need to lead this lap. I just need the last one. But unfortunately, he did not get a great exit out of turn 4. Holden Myers did, and we're back lined up all the way to Francisco there in 7th. And only about a half second away finds Colton Bruck and the lime green TB kart of Marcelo Flores. About another second back to go to Cameron Johnson's Merlin. And he's got a few lined up there. Colton Schniegenberg in tow, Isaac Carvalho, Scales and crew. We did, of course, have the moments on the outlap, but at least as of the end of lap 4, with more shuffling in the front, all 24 remain. And Maxwell Macha is at the top here with still a long ways ahead.
Yeah, Holden Myers, again, just on that rear bumper of Zane Burgess here. And you saw moves further back. Santi Orioli was able to go on Kate Wolf there in turn number 11. So Orioli now up to 5th, Wolf to 6th. Jane Francisco staying in line there in the 7th spot. But as we work our way through for Holden Myers, it's going to be close to the end, right? We talked about position number 3. That's probably your favorite spot in the closing stages of the race. I think for here, just splitting them up. We're very early in this race. Splitting those two parallels up, I think that's key here early on.
Yeah, you're just a little less in control, right? I mean, you hear it from the drivers talking about controlling the race. I mean, Maxwell Macha, that's what he's doing right now, because if you're further back, again, Cade Wolf right now, Jaden Francisco, moves like that in front of you affect your day. Santi Orioli going by Lawrence Perriman. Perriman not wanting to go any further back. And just like that, we see a split. The top 3 now break away, and it was none of the doing of Jaden Francisco at all. He's now going to try and take matters into his own hands as he makes the pass there on Wolf in turn 4, and realizing that all of a sudden the leaders are a little bit further up the road, he's going to try and will his way back through the grid. Lawrence Perriman now. Let's see if he pushes Orioli after getting shuffled back down a little bit. Colton Bruck, Marcelo Flores, they've been kind of on the cusp of getting to the main group, but they haven't quite arrived there yet. Their speed may not be as good. However, further back, speed is very good for the 180 of Liam Nachawati. 14 spots up here in the first 5 laps, and now the pressure is on to will his way to the top 9. Look at the gap, about half the straightaway distance to get to this group, with about 2/3 of the race still remaining. Lawrence Perriman now backing them up a little bit as he makes the move to get by Orioli for 4th.
And they've just got to settle in here a little bit. Flores, I think, was looking for a move on Colton Bruck. He's going to get it into turn number 4. That spot changes hands, and again, these top 3 already breaking away here. Maxwell Macha in the lead to Burgess, to Holden Myers, who again has no help up there up front. It's just really a matter, that second group, it's a matter of just kind of settling down, you know, getting in that groove for a little bit, and we're still seeing passes, right? Francisco there on Orioli, Wolf stuck on the outside, and not going to make anything of it, but again, we're getting into that middle stage of the race, right? So it's focusing on long run from this point forward.
Out of the last turn and down the front straightaway, 7 laps complete, 13 laps to go. Lawrence Perriman will be the one to try to bring the packs back together with about a second and 2/10 up the road to Holden Myers, who started to lose a little touch to Zane Burgess last time around, and now Perriman is going to get passed here by Jaden Francisco, who has said, that's enough, boys. You need to follow me. We've watched this Ryan Perry Motorsport Nitro kart do some of the most incredible moves and incredible race performances of this division here in 2025. He's got another one on hand here potentially to drive up to 2 drivers that seemingly are in perfect harmony here. Zane Burgess and Maxwell Macha. The gap last time to Holden was up to about 2/10. I think it's grown maybe a tick here across the line. Way more than that. 3/10 added onto the margin.
You see Holden Myers on the straightaway, just picks his hands up, right? Just kind of lost as to how he's losing so much time. And I tell you what, Macha, Burgess, both of them out of Florida, they go biking together, cycling together, vacations together. And again, they're showing that same kind of type of friendship, if you will, or camaraderie on the racetrack here. Macha, just really good out in front. He's been able to lead quite consistently with Zane Burgess right behind him, and then everybody else, right, that fighting's kind of ensued, so Holden doesn't have that extra push to try and stay up with your top 2.
8 laps here in the books. It'll be 9 this time. Cross flags the next lap around. Still plenty of time for Zane to wait if he wants to. And at the moment, what they're doing is working. Now for Jaden Francisco and Santiago Orioli, they've dropped a bit. Cade Wolf off the back of them. They've definitely started to pull from Lawrence Perriman. Let's compare the lap times head to head. That time, they lost 1/10 almost exactly to Maxwell Macha. Santiago Orioli right there with Francisco. Again, Holden Myers a 52.9, and for Macha and Burgess a high 52.7. Now Zane Burgess in the warm-up had a bit of an engine issue. It doesn't look to be too bad while he's behind Maxwell, but if we get down to a head-to-head fight or a bigger pack where you need the power to be able to lead, maybe Zane Burgess would be in a trickier spot to pull off the win than in his teammate's shoes here in Maxwell Macha. You can see at certain points there the gap opening just a little bit. So if the power is a little better for the race leader, it's better for them to be in the formation that they are right now, where the draft can keep pulling Zane along and pushing at the end of the straights, and let Maxwell, if he's got a little stronger piece, especially getting out of the corners, to tow them away. And they have definitely broken away here, Caleb. 8/10 to Myers and 2 seconds to the second group.
Yeah, that gap is massive, and for a second there we thought Orioli was, again, showing some good speed and making some good passes throughout the race as well, and that's kind of just stopped there, right? Francisco's been able to get back ahead of him, and as well another one of the drivers in their mix, Cade Wolf. Again, they're just kind of single file, right, waiting for the end of this race, and they really need a lot out of these two drivers in the closing stage of the race to be within a shot of a race win here. They're going to need Burgess, Macha to kind of throw everything at each other, right? Those last 2 laps, those last 5 laps even, if you will, for them to have a shot at a race win here. But the Paralins, I mean, the story of the year, right? When X30 Jr was in this class at the start of the year, he was a race winner more often than not, up there at the front consistently. Macha joined the team. He was up there at the front as well. Burgess now with them. And again, that Paralin team has been the team to beat in Mini Swift. And it's showing, right? The top 2 breaking away from Holden Myers, who's a local, very good here at Trackhouse Motorplex, as well as Cade Wolf, who just made a move there on Santi Orioli.
Yeah, so Cade Wolf in the Timmy Tech Comp Kart, seeing his teammate up the road, kind of holding station, but more importantly, feeling his go-kart come to life at the halfway point in the main. Now wants to lead this second pack. He goes by Francisco there for P4. Orioli back to 6th still, couldn't quite follow. And again, Francisco back to 4th. All the while, the strategy continues to play out for your 2 leaders. Let's check in as well with the progress of Liam Nachawati. He got by one more driver since we last checked in on him. He's up to the 9th position. 8 seconds back last time, 8.4 back this time, because he's all by himself. He's pulled away from Colton Schneegenberg's crew with Cameron Johnson with him. He is 2 seconds back from Colton Bruck and Lawrence Perriman, who have now fallen well out of view from our second group, the quartet of Wolf, Myers, Francisco, and Orioli.
Yeah, we look at the gaps right now, 1.5 in between Holden Myers and Macha and Zane Burgess. Again, Holden has the fastest lap of the race, but just it's been about 4/10 of a second, really, almost 5/10 in between himself, a lap. That is just kind of sitting in no man's land, right? No draft from the top 2, and now he's going to fall under fire here, maybe to Cade Wolf. If not, he'll pick him along and, again, push him along to try and be there in the end. That's their best shot now, right? Just waiting, sitting patiently, lap 15, and they got to set themselves up, and sadly that's not going to happen because we're fighting for 3rd. Cade Wolf through on Holden Myers. Francisco goes by as well. The battle for the podium here.
Yeah, that might be all this battle is. I mean, with 5.5 laps remaining, they're well out of range here from the top 2. Can't even shout to them from one end of the straightaway to another. And it will all come down to how long Zane Burgess wants to wait to make a pass attempt, how long Maxwell Macha is comfortable in the front before he feels the heat to potentially defend that top spot. They'll lose a lot of time. Only 9 horsepower for these unrestricted IAME Mini Swift engines. If they go really low in the slower corners like turn 8, I mean, they lose a lot of time, up to half a second sometimes in a single turn, and over a second maybe on an entire lap. But when you've only got 2 of them and they're able to kind of communicate with each other with quick hand signals, and of course having the coaches and parents and mechanics on the fence line saying, hey, wait, take your time. If you want the last lap to duke it out, that's fine. If you want the last half of it, that's fine, but don't start battling too early. What you're doing is working, but only by just enough. Again, last time by, Cade Wolf, he did lose a little, but it was only a 1/10.5. They are fast in this second group. They're just not faster than the leaders, and they're not quite fast enough to even hold the gap. So the more time that Zane waits, the more that gap will be built up by the time it's ready to do battle. That's more cushion for him, again, to be able to open up, right? You talk about third being a great place to fight from. It's not great in this scenario, but it is good when you're able to force the second place driver to follow the leader and make the leader go really deep into the corner and cross them both over. When it's just a mano-a-mano fight, I mean, we run this layout enough, Zane's raced it enough, Maxwell's raced it enough, the leader's gonna probably know how deep to brake without going too slow on the exit to get crossed over or too fast in, you know, especially to have that same moment happen, or too slow even to let someone pass you around the outside. It's, if anything, maybe a bit trickier. So you would think second's a good place to be here, but if you're fighting with someone with experience, I almost feel like the lead is a safer place to be. But the Mini Swift class, again, going back to that low horsepower point, this last turn, even that 2023 finish we watched, crossovers can happen in the run down the hill.
And how about we talk about our two drivers in the lead here. Maxwell Macha moving up to the Mini Swift class last year, and again, you look back at the Micro Swift career he had, right? A Super Nationals champion, but that hasn't been the same success in Mini Swift to start things off. Still hasn't won a race in Mini. He finished on the podium at the Super Nationals last year, and you have to look at Daytona, where he was within a shot for the race win. Unfortunately for him, celebrated just a little bit too early and lost it at the line to Jaden Francisco. And the exact opposite for Zane Burgess, right? Came out of the gate swinging at the start of the year in Orlando. Had a great career in Micro Swift, got every single trophy that was possible in Micro but one. And it was this one here. Xander did not win the IAME Grand National Championship in 2024. And now this year, for Zane Burgess, looks to win it for his first time here at Trackhouse Motorplex. Mooresville, this place, this track builds stories like this time and time again. For Maxwell Macha looking to become a first-time winner, to get back in a winner's circle here this weekend. And for Zane Burgess as well, looking to win the only trophy he hasn't won in the cadet ranks.
That's right. He's won so many. And Maxwell Macha as well. Now with the same tent. I mean, teammates again. We were seeing the two of them gel pretty nicely, albeit in different age groups, with Velocity Racing Sodi earlier in the year and the end of last year. And now with Parolin USA, the team led by Ben Cruttenden, and the coaching of one of the best international talents that's shown multiple times the ability to win here in America, Marco Maestranzi. They've got these two youngsters with a chance to decide it amongst themselves. Zane Burgess had a big moment, or at least a struggle, to say the least, getting out of turn 8 that time. He still is going to get a good run down the backstretch to pull close, but you'll see Maxwell be more than confident enough here into 4 to just barely fade low. The pack behind, I don't think you can say the same. You got two teammates, one outlier, Jaden Francisco, and a Timmy Tech sandwich in the fight for P3 as we race with a lap and a half remaining.
Here we go. It all comes down to this. A lap and a half here. Burgess now looking on the inside of turn number 8. Catches Macha by surprise. But as easy as that, Maxwell Macha with the over-under back to the lead of the race. And that cushion, again, grows to 2 car lengths as we head to the front stretch. White flag in the air this time by from Porter. It's Maxwell Macha, Zane Burgess for an IAME Grand National Championship.
He looks back. The gap is still pretty lengthy. And if he is, again, feeling like he doesn't have the oomph out of the slowest corner on the circuit, he'll have to try something different on the final lap. That one was a good move. It ultimately won't work here to lead to the end. Half a lap to go. Maxwell taking him into turn 5. Problems for Liam Nachawati. The charge forward ends with a lap remaining.
We work our way through now. Turn number 8, Maxwell Macha. He was passing this corner before. Burgess going to try the high side. Looking to set up an over-under. They're going to get side by side. Burgess, wheel to wheel, door to door. Can he do it again into turn number 9? On the inside, Burgess is clear.
Zane Burgess pulls off the stunner. One more turn to go. He'll go to the low side. Maxwell to the high side to cross him up. In the run to the line, it will go Zane's way. He wins the Mini Swift National Championship.
so close in Micro Swift when he lost it on the last lap in turn number 9. And this year, the move that was done on him is the move that he does for the race win. Zane Burgess, finally an IAME Grand National champion.
Nothing sweeter than being able to pull off a buzzer beater move like that with just 2 corners to go. Textbook crossover moves and a clean finish between the teammates. Maxwell Macha is going to be frustrated with that one, and understandably so. He leads nearly every lap of the Mini Swift main event. But at the end, it's Zane who gets the win by 0.05 of a second. Jaden Francisco able to get the better of Holden Myers and Cade Wolf there in the fight for P3 as well. Orioli ends up 6th, Lawrence Perriman 7th, Colton Schniegenberg, Cameron Johnson, and Colton Brook moves into the top 10. And the only DNF coming with just 2 laps to go, Liam Nachawati, an early exit after an incredible charge forward.
I've got Zane Burgess here. Zane, I'm going to pull you over here so we can get your family in the background and all your supporters. But Zane, it's finally happened for you. You're a Grand National champion. How stoked are you for this one?
I'm very stoked. I'm very happy. I'm very grateful for this win. I know there's more to come. We were working together, Max and me, and just I over-undered him coming out of turn 8, and I just got it from him.
And tell me about that move. How did you decide that it was time to go for the win?
Because I know if we fight at 2 laps to go, the other people might have catched. So I just pushed Max to the last lap.
Is there anyone that you'd like to thank for this one?
Yes, my mom, my dad, Andretti, Gamebridge, my whole family, my mechanic Eduardo, my teammates, and everybody that I know.
Congratulations, Zane.
Thank you so much.
You can see the emotion here for Zane's family and supporters in a wild one. And the nerves and the relaxation can a bit begin. And more importantly, the celebration can begin. Zane Burgess is your 2025 IAME USA Grand National Champion in Mini Swift. We'll be right back with 2 more mains to go from Trackhouse.
This is Henry. Henry feels sad. Henry feels sad because it's time for his next big race and his go-kart is in bits. Henry doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing is the United States' #1 shop for all of your karting equipment needs. Henry also doesn't know that Acceleration Kart Racing can deliver anything from tires to race suits and even wheels directly to your front door or to the racetrack itself quickly and efficiently, with tech support available 6 days a week. Poor Henry doesn't even know that Acceleration Kart Racing offers free shipping to mainland USA on selected product if you spend $200 or more. Do yourself a favor. Go to accelerationkarting.com and make sure that you are never left stuck on the pre-grid with Henry. Be smart and don't be like Henry.
Paulie Massimino wins the Wisconsin Grand Prix. James Overbeck on start number 2 gets win #1 in OKN Stars.
On track or off, Brandon Jarsekrak Racing delivers elite performance. Led by 4-time Pro National Champion Brandon Jarsekrak, our team masters driver coaching, data-driven analysis, and mechanical precision at every national event. Contact us today at BrandonJarsekrakracing.com.
Florida Kart Racers, you asked for it and we're going to bring it. Introducing Florida Karting Championship, FLKC, a brand new racing series coming to Florida in 2026.
Karts have been released from the grid for our 5th main event of the afternoon. The sun shining here from Trackhouse, and the X30 Junior class will be led to the green by one driver that's already got a Junior Grand National title to his name now. Lucas Palacio will line up on the inside of Max Weiland. John Antonino and Tristan Murphy will make up row number 2.
Beth and Ashton Woon. Nathan Golseth, Ashton Woon on row number 3. Juther Malaswamy and Jackson Gibson on row number 4.
Edward Kennedy and Nico Katowski will be on row number 5. Travis Pettit and Royce Vega make up an all Rollison Performance Group row 6. Work to be done. We've seen speed out of both of them in recent memory here in their short bit with the team.
You go back a little bit further, Arthur Barb and Enzo Di Janeiro, Indy Anderson, Bashi Jimenez on row number 9.
Final row inside your top couple here. Isaac Malquit, Nathan Dupuis, row 10, Maddox Ruiz, Jose Alejandro Halfin, and 20 plus in total for X30 Junior, 24 to be exact to make up the list. With Halfin, Meyer Lewis, Parker Ives, and William Vitor getting set for action. Posh Jimenez there just in the mix. And as we look back, Parker Ives, Vitor, final row, long way to go. A lot of laps to get there. 22 as they draw the outlap to a close. Lucas Palacio led K Jr. to green, and he led it from basically start to finish. I'm sure for Max Weiland and John Antonino, that's fresh enough in the memory to know, all right, once we get our footing, we cannot make the same choices that allowed Lucas to pull a near 2-second gap just about an hour earlier. They need to get with him, maybe shuffle him back, and at minimum, keep him close enough to fight at the end. Let's do it, X30 Junior style for the Grand National Championship. 22 laps and we're green.
And already to the bottom of the racetrack for Lucas Palacio and John Antonino. Contact in between Antonino Golseth as Weiland has to check up. Golseth going a bit wide there. Murphy goes through. Malaswamy escapes from the wall. What a close start to this race here, Xander.
Yeah, Juther Malaswamy nearly had the day go away just like that, unfortunately, for Jackson Gibson. The 714 into the barriers in turn 8 as we put lap 1 down, and the Kart Republics get a big gap as Weiland was able to get around Golseth in the infield, and he points forward knowing how quick those two have been. Here's Ashton Woon, spoke to him this morning. Starts a little bit easier than the K Junior class with a few less karts on the circuit and a few less karts specifically from him to P1 with a nice move there in turn number 1. Now he can set his sights at the front of the second group, which has the 2 RPM Tony karts of Nathan Golseth and Tristan Murphy in front of him, and Max Weiland in third, and about 8 tenths to track down Antonino and Lucas Palacio. And this is a tricky, really tricky spot for Buddy Antonino to be in, because again, you just watched Lucas get away from you in K Junior. You obviously enter a race with confidence. You want to believe that you've got the package to fight for the win. But if you wait and the speed for Lucas begins to be a little bit better than what you can match, and you didn't pull the trigger now, Caleb, you're going to be biting yourself all the way on the journey back home.
Yeah, I think more than anything, the biggest struggle point for John Antonino, right, was that everybody was kind of close to him, and they took him away from Lucas Palacio, and that's where he struggled, right, where he couldn't stay up there. So I think this is good for John Antonino, right, being in second. And if you look at the pace, it wasn't all too much different in between himself and Palacio. Palacio, again, was stronger on his own, which is the only thing that I'll keep an eye on. So to me, Antonino's in a good spot here. And again, if he does feel like he's losing time, he's going to have to go at some point.
I'd agree with you, Caleb. I think Antonino was definitely second best by a hair of that K Junior 3-pack of himself, Nybert, and Max Weiland. Weiland here with the draft already gone. He's at least going to get a bit of a gap now as they scramble behind him here. That's the only way to describe this. Look at all the movement. Travis Pettit's going to part the seas and get past them all as Golseth gets shuffled to the wayside, barely escaping the wall in turn 2. And he'll have to hit the reset button now with a little gap back to Isaac Malquit. So 3 laps in, long ways still ahead, but a long gap already has formed back to the magic card of Weiland, and even Another one back here to Pettit, who's going to have to deal with Ashton Woon here in the infield. Let's see if Ashton goes. No, he'll wait behind and give Travis the opportunity to lead them away from this train that goes all the way back to Nathan Dupuis in 12th. About a second away from Arthur Barb and Royce Vega. 4 laps down, 18 laps to go. Thermalaswamy, not a scratch on the left side pod, but there definitely could have been more than that earlier.
Yeah, it was just very close there, right, for Jude. And again, he's really continuing that same pace that he had a couple of weeks ago at the United States Pro Kart Series at the final round, right? I mean, that kid, when you look back to a year ago, he was at the back of the pack, and now to see him inside of the top 10 and to see the confidence he's gained after, 2 weeks ago, it's good to see him up there, and to escape the wall like that, I mean, that takes some skill.
It does, and it's a hairy moment again as well mentally to try and reset and go, okay, deep breath, we're still in this. It's not over, and now go back on attack as we just witnessed there. A nice pass on Edward Kennedy, moves him back up the board to 7th. Travis Pettit proving good on Ashton Woon's faith as Nathan Golseth now goes by Kennedy for the 8th spot here at the end of the lap. And Pettit is making up time, it looks like, on Max Weiland. In fact, he's the fastest car on the circuit right now. The Rawls and Performance Group Cosmic had to go to the rear earlier this weekend for an engine change amongst both junior classes where they just didn't quite get the easiest place to fight from. But with a lengthy main event and a bit of a speed advantage, you can make it happen if you can get through the start. Travis did that. Ashton Woon gave him the opportunity to lead them both up the grid, and he is making good use of it. You can see now visually he's closer to Max Weiland than a lap ago again, and the leaders, albeit a good ways up the road, are not totally out of reach. 2.5 seconds, but this will hurt a bit. Woon to the inside. He gave him the faith for a lap or so. Let's see if Travis repays the favor. He'll stay in line down to 1.
Yeah, William Veeder there just on the edge of your screen. We saw him off the racetrack a little bit early there, just a couple of corners ago. But nonetheless, unfortunate for the J. Howard Driver Development. Driver just couldn't catch a break this weekend as we, again, keep an eye up front. Ashton Woon, talked to him this morning, said he was feeling good on the X30 package, and it's looking good as he's closing in on Max Weiland. Woon, does he have a go in an 8? He's going to wait.
Mind you, the speed has been incredible for Ashton Woon. Thinking back to the shootout last night, untouchable on the alternate layout. Can the 795 drive all the way up to the leaders? He's going to make the move for 3rd here. And there he goes through 11. Pettit to try and follow. Not quite. Weiland says focus forward, fellas. Well, they are focusing forward. You're just the next one in their way. Let's see if Travis wants to give Max a chance to keep staying with the two of them. Or does he go down here in turn 4? He won't have an option. Big run for Mad Max. That was a nice recovery through turn 3 after having to go wide in 11. And Ashton Woon, the gap is now set. 2.8 seconds from the lead. And importantly, again, the leaders are starting to separate as well. Here's Murphy to the inside of Pettit, turn 8. He's by, but a half second now for Lucas Palacio, starting to build over John Antonino.
And that was our biggest question as well, right, coming into this race. Does John Antonino have the pace? Does he have the speed to keep up with Lucas Palacio? And at the moment, again, he was quick in those first 2 laps, and since then it's just not gone his way. Palacio's really been able to get into that groove, stretch his legs, and start to open up that gap, and that time by another 2/10. Lucas Palacio is absolutely flying here, and it's really up to this group, right? The fastest at the moment is Ashton Woon. He has the fastest lap on the racetrack. It's just a matter of laps, right? Does he have enough time to get up there? When you look at the gap, it's about 2 seconds to Lucas Palacio. That's a long time to kind of close in a race, but I think it's definitely doable if Ashton Woon can keep up that same pace.
He's got to be perfect from here on out. It doesn't look like anyone's as fast as him here in this group. You can see the gap he's got to Weiland is starting to just barely increase lap over lap. Maybe Tristan Murphy's got something for him. We've seen the 7-Eleven already make that move on Pettit. He's right on the heels of Weiland down the front straight away. Max looks back, sees the gap. A whole lot of karts lined up there. All the way through to Kennedy at the end of it. Enzo Di Gennaro, 14th, about 2 seconds back is where you draw the split. Here's the move, maybe, no, almost.
Yeah, Isaac Malquid, we had to look at them because he's up 9 spots here. Malquid up to 8th in this race. That's a good drive by the Mike Doty Racing LN kart. Looks like next on his list, Nathan Golseth as they get into turn number 8. Murphy looking on the inside.
Nice move for Tristan. Now side by side behind him, Travis Pettit tried to make something of the exchange, couldn't quite get her done. Tristan Murphy now officially one spot to the good in the Grand National Championship podium. Max Weiland on the verge of losing it. Travis Pettit on the outside would love to be able to stand amongst the 5 for the 2025 X30 Jr division here at the IAME USA Grand National Championship. They'll be at the halfway mark here in this main. Next time by the loop, and the fight continues. Weiland back through to 4th, and the gap for Woon, the separation for better or for worse, is now fully done. He's outside the draft window. It'll be all on him to make up any more ground. No help will be close enough, I think. Murphy back on Weiland in 8, and that brings them even closer. Now Nate Golseth's right there on the back of Pettit. Malkowitz charge from 17th. He's got a chance to stand on the box today. He's right there in the 775. Thurmalaswamy and then Dupuis.
Yeah, that group just, again, fighting for the podium places here. Murphy, the driver up front, to Weiland, to Pettit, to Golseth, Malkwit, and more. We'll see what Weiland wants to do here. And again, we still got a long way to go. 11 laps to go left in this race. And again, we're fighting just halfway through it. So we'll see. We'll see who wants to be in control of this second group. And again, they've all been going back and forth. Murphy, he was like, he's found some speed, and Malkwood, first one to get out of line, turned him right on Golseth. He's clear.
That was a big send. Isaac Malkwood had that thing locked up the wrong way. Quick wiggle of the hands, got it back pointed the right direction, and a good run through turn 9. Starts to pull the gap back up to Golseth. Here's Thurmalaswamy trying to take advantage. Nice move, turn 11. Back goes Nathan, another spot to fellow Nathan in Dupuis. He'll try to rebound in turn 1, and he does. Back down the inside, now with 10 to go. And speaking of back and forth, there's not been much up front. It's only opened as Thurmalaswamy sends one to hang on over Dupuis into turn number 4. Lucas Palacio is on his way to sweep the junior divisions. He's pulled the gap down to 1.6 seconds to his teammate John Antonino. And I said earlier that while it's great, of course, for the MPG Motorsports camp to have a 1-2 finish, John Antonino would have loved to flip the order here, at least in one of the classes. And he had a chance early, but he waited to make sure they were fully away from the group. It's a good team play. It's a good conservative play to make sure you both are well and away from maybe some fast drivers that show themselves by the midway point, like Ashton Woon, for example, who is still, thanks to no passing at all up front, trying to will his way up from a 1.4 second deficit with 9 laps left on the table. But for Antonino, by not forcing the issue, by not bringing the pack into the mix, and just not quite having enough over Palacio, he has sadly watched his teammate drive off and into the sunset, and it'll be up and over 2 seconds at the rate that it's going the next time we measure it at the timing loop with 8 laps left to go.
Yeah, just looking at the lap times here for Palacio, just the consistency has been out of this world. He's hundreds of seconds, you know, that's the difference in between his lap times every time that he goes around. That time he dropped the 10th, but nonetheless, Palacio's been super consistent here in this one. That being said, for Antonino, right, still losing time, 2/10 as we have passes further back. Maybe not for Travis Pettit, who slots back in line. And Woon, he gained 2/10 of a second that time by John Antonino, but again, it's just been a 10th, 2/10. So that's what's kind of taken him so long to try and get up there to fight for second.
Meanwhile, this fight hasn't stopped since we switched onto it on about lap 2 for 4th onwards. Weiland now at the helm. Pettit into the top 5. Murphy 6. Isaac Malkwit inside, outside, door-to-door with Nate Golseth, who slams the curb in turn 10 to complete the move and move himself back up the order just a little ways into 7th. Thurmalaswamy now going to have to deal with Nathan Dupuis, another driver coming from deep on the field. 18th to the 10th spot and counting for Nate Dogg, and Hurricane Trav bringing the storm up to 4th now with a move to the inside of Weiland. Tristan Murphy following with that move, closes right back in, and the 3 of them have a touch of a gap maybe to Golseth, but that'll again evaporate with the next change in position. And for this entire group here, they are again fighting for something. The prize package for X30 Jr pays deep down to the top 5 along with the rest of the classes here at the IAME USA Grand National Championship. It's $3,000 and an X30 engine to the race winner. $1,500 to second, $1,000 to third, $750 to fourth, $500 to fifth, along with, again, a chance to stand on the podium. You're talking about a $500 swing, already $1,000 on the weekend for Ashton Woon. And he continues to chip away at the gap to Antonino. He's now going to be within the drafting range, and that'll accelerate the closing rate for him and really bring us a good fight for the vice champion spot.
Yeah, we're getting very close here for the second spot. And again, this group has stayed close all race long. Tristan Murphy goes through on Max Weiland into turn number 8. Tristan Murphy up into the podium places, and like you said, a $500 swing there for Murphy. Gets himself onto the podium places and out of the box here.
As impressive as the Kart Republic 1-2 punch of John Antonino and Lucas Palacio have been, the chassis has never won in the X30 Junior class in the previous 4 runnings of the IAME Grand National Championship. It looks pretty signed, sealed, and delivered here with 4.5 laps to go for Lucas Palacio to make event number 5 be the one that defends Trackhouse and the house here that imports the chassis. So we watch now Travis Pettit's group back on the infield run to turn 8, potentially backing up again if they fight any more to not just 1 or 2 drivers, but a couple at the edge of the top 10. Royce Vega and Indy Anderson have started to claw their way towards the main group. 4 to go for Lucas Palacio's picture-perfect Sunday, and behind him, the fight is on. Woon to the inside for second.
Yeah, Woon didn't waste too much time there. He gained 0.2 of a second on John Antonino that last time by, but again, this is what we were talking about at the start of the race, right? Antonino knows that Woon's that little bit quicker and already starting to pull away, right? Just much better on the exit of the corner there for Ashton Woon. So if you're Antonino, it's a matter of going right back, but at this point, he's just not close enough.
Well, if we take another look at it as well, and many viewers may have just caught it, you saw a puff of dust come up off the back rear tire of Antonino coming through turn 3. He washed out just a hair right behind Woon, and then that, of course, had him all out of shape in turn 4, and not the best exit to give Woon a little breathing room. Coming to now 3 laps remaining. Antonino hopping in the seat, frustrated. You can tell how badly he wants to at least hold on to that second spot. Here's that look at it. Watch this. Just washes out just barely, and right there, just enough to dirty the outside rear tire and have him well out of shape in a 4-wheel slide through the bowl. And now he's starting to really lose touch. Ashton Woon, to his credit, even with that pass, has either held even or gone faster than Lucas Palacio. The 2 drivers that headline that mini Swift class in 2023 and into 2024 as well, with major wins, championships on the year, and now in their rookie year in the junior ranks, Lucas Palacio and Ashton Woon are looking to potentially go 1-2 in their first try in X30 Jr at the IAME Grand National Championship. Beyond them, Travis Pettit, Tristan Murphy. The fight is not over for them. Nate Golseth, the hero of the KA Junior Shootout, might be able to make something happen here. Trying to make some magic on his teammate. He's got that spot away. P5 now for Nate Golseth, and Travis Pettit gets a couple car lengths out of it.
Yeah, Tristan Murphy just stuck on the high side there, the dirty side of the racetrack, and again, Golseth able to get the nose down low as Murphy goes right back into turn number 8. Malquit looking to go through, Golseth off the racetrack.
He caught Nathan by surprise, and now Travis Pettit's going to have a nice gap headed up the hill to see just 1 lap to go. White flag in the air. Behind him now is Max Weiland and Isaac Malquit. What a charge from 17th. Can Malquit go all the way to the top 5? It's the fight for the last spot on the podium. The top 4 seem all set and secured with the gaps as they run. Down the backstretch we go again. Murphy covers low.
Malquit still looking to get himself into the money here, trying with everything that he's got to fight for the lead, but up front, Lucas Palacio is set to sweep the junior classes.
There's only one other driver that's doubled up at the Grand National Championship. In year 1, Carson Morgan did it, but no one has done it like this, to lead every lap of 2 main events and score double Grand National Championships. Lucas Palacio sweeps it on Sunday. Ashton Woon second. Antonino third. Look at the run to the line. Malquit got it. Ike steals the final spot on the podium on the last lap. Travis Pettit fourth. Buddy Antonino third. Ashton Woon, one of the fastest hot rods, the only driver in the same 10th bracket as race winner Lucas Palacio. Who knows what could have happened if he would have been able to start a little bit higher up the board from 6th and then dropping back and methodically cutting up the field. Ashton Woon will get the Vice Championship trophy and $1,500 cash to boot. $1,000 and the trophy for third for Antonino, $750 and $500 to fourth and fifth with Travis Pettit. And what a charge. Isaac Malquit, 12 spots gained, and he basically got every single one of them on his own. Only 2 DNFs. We mentioned William Vitor with the problem earlier. Nico Katowski sadly had one late in the going, hovering the early teens. Lucas Palacio, though, double Grand National champion. Now with every lap led from the pole. What a performance.
You guys would have done a lot better if your speed racer there was able to
It was like the first half of the session, it was working, but it wasn't telling me my time, but it was telling me my splits. Yeah. And it was telling me my time. I'm like, I don't care about the splits. I just
Lucas, wow. Just wow. It's another 3-second gap to a win for you. Tell me about how this one feels.
It feels a little bit better because now I have 2 wins. But yeah, I did the same as KA, just got a big gap. And yeah, I ran as fast as I could.
What was going through your head whenever you crossed the line in that large of a gap for a second time?
I couldn't believe it. I knew I was going to be fast, but yeah, that was good.
Thank you, Lucas.
Thank you.
There you guys have it from your back-to-back junior winner, Lucas Palacio. Quick commercial break from our side. Pro X30 coming up next.
Champions aren't just born on the kart track. At SimShop, we deliver professional-grade simulators with the best performance-to-price ratio in the industry. Founded by racers who understand what you need, our SimMagic and Moza equipment is powerful enough for the pros, yet affordable for everyone. With unmatched customer support and a thriving community, we're your racing partner. Visit simshop.com today.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. For more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
Are you stuck with your kart racing? Not sure the ideal kart setup? Or going to a track for the first time? Well, Kart Class has the answers for you. Our online portal has a wealth of experience and knowledge to help your kart racing. From kart setup advice to track guides that are targeted specifically to your circuit, or the driver coaching aspect with mindset, racecraft and driving techniques. If you want to take your karting to the next level, visit us at kartclass.com.
Your Pro X30's out onto the racetrack. Now let's run you down your starting grid order. Alessandro DeTulio and Gus Lawrence on row number 1. Austin Garrison and Caden McQueen on row number 2.
Row 3, Frankie Mossman down the inside of James Overbeck. Chase Cassian-Lee and Oliver Hodgson. You couldn't be further apart on the ages. A rookie and one of the most decorated drivers to come out of the United Kingdom in the last 2 decades. Close out the 4th row.
Stephen Miller and Hayden Jones are going to share the top 5 rows. Paulie Massimino and Blake Nash going to share row number 6. Keep an eye on the North Carolina native.
Finn Bailiff to the inside of Caleb Gaffera. Long road ahead from the outside of row 7. to try and repeat that wild performance last night in the MG Tires X30 shootout. Jacob Kolar, last year's winner, even further back on the inside of row 8. And Danny Perez to his outside. It's Ryan Rafa, Naomi Garcia, Davin Roberts, Zachary Clayman DeMello, and quickly we'll show you the final few starters for the 29 here in X30 Pro.
And you got to go back, keep an eye on Dalton Haynes here as well. Lost points after an unfortunate mistake when it came down to tech. All eyes on ADT. Gus Lawrence on row number 1. One more time around, we're going to have to wait.
They'll send them to get a little bit better form for the last race of the weekend, the big one here. And Alessandro DiTullio has had everyone's number to this point in the weekend. However, again, warm up, bit of a different showing here with more drivers closing that gap and on the more familiar layout, and hearing from many that they felt like they did find a little bit more speed off the back of last night in the heat races yesterday, and a level playing field. Sticker MG yellow tires for all 29 starters on the racetrack. Paulie Massimino's already got a Grand National title today. Could he double up, just as we witnessed with Lucas Palacio? He'll have to do it again from a little ways back in the field. He said it'll be a little bit trickier, but it could all open up if Gus Lawrence and Austin Garrison and Caden McQueen can bring the fight to the pole sitter.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it here. A lot of names, a lot of drivers, a lot of stories, and again, a lot of nerves when we get down to this. Into the tram lines we go. DiTullio on the inside, Lawrence on the outside. Yellow again.
Not sure what, and I think we might be as confused as the front row are of what they don't like. But here is the word that we're hearing. Alessandro DiTullio, mind you, was already warned earlier this weekend about jumping the start, punching off before the officials had talked about the flag zone, and they are letting him know that they want a slower start and a later punch off for the run to turn 1. Alessandro DiTullio last night ended frustrated, and you could see a little shake of the head there. He doesn't like it, but he's going to have to live with it if he wants to get this race underway. So
you got to think of it as well for ADT, right? He's kind of in his zone as we're getting started, and he's getting taken out of that just a little bit here, right? So something to note.
Yeah, now you've got to put it in the back of your mind, forget about it, say, all right, just go a little bit later. The strategy he wanted to do, where he wanted to accelerate, not going to work. They need a slow start, a later punch off to try and keep them all together and into turn 1 safely. 29 cars. X30 Pro for the IAME Grand National Championship main event. We're green.
What a start for James Overbeck, already up to 3rd. Frankie Mossman gets himself to 4th. Gus Lawrence on the outside, atrocious start from 2nd.
Yeah, he got swarmed by that, was hoping for even a later jump from DiTullio, and it's Austin Garrison slipping by into P2, and a big gap for himself and Ale as they run to the infield. Overbeck looks back, sees Mossman. Lawrence under heavy fire, covering low from McQueen, and there's contact. Stephen Miller, Zach Clayton-Mello slow to continue. Something happening over in turn number 6 as we take a look back at the start, and Lawrence just didn't get the launch off that he needed, and Mossman and Garrison kind of chased him up the hill, and then look at the bounce to the dirt for Gassiet Lee and Overbeck on the inside, but they pick up spots out of it. And that again shakes up your grid quite a bit. DeMello to the rear, Miller the same. 1 lap down, DiTullio leads, but the gap is shrinking to Garrison and crew, and Gus Lawrence has been shuffled down to the edge of the top 10 now. He was able to defend quite a bit, but ultimately Caden McQueen has gotten the better of him and now has to set his sights on the main pack of 4.
And there was a lot of dirt there as well in the exit of turn number 6. Everybody fading to the bottom, side by side. Nash, Hodgson, Blake Nash gets through. Hodgson slots back in the line in front of Hayden Jones, but like I mentioned, a lot of dirt in turn number 6. DiTullio was the first one to get there, and that front pack starting to close up.
So that'll split this group apart. There's Massimino in the middle of it all. Hayden Jones on Finn Bailiff, and up front, Alessandro DiTullio is far from getting away. Here's a look at last year's winner and last night's winner. Kafarin Kolar going by on Bailiff down into turn 1. Way back from the leaders. but it won't take long to get close if they race like this. DiTullio already on defense, covering low into turn 4. He feels the pressure from Garrison, and even if Garrison wanted to wait, his choice is made up for him. James Overbeck, in his X30 Pro debut at the Grand National Championship, wants to get to the lead. He wants second now, and he'll take it in turn number 8. And Mossman draws alongside for third. Garrison will fend him off through 9. And can James Overbeck put the hopes of the BJR crew on his shoulders and drive back up to ADT? 3 laps complete.
And just like that, right, ADT felt the pressure on the back straightaway, blocked, and again, that put Austin Garrison under pressure, who's going right back on James Overbeck into turn number 1. Garrison a second.
That might be the gap that DiTullio needed, as now Mossman sends Overbeck back to 4th, frustrated with it. Says focus forward. We cannot let this guy get a lead and get comfortable. We've seen him open up the gap so many times already this weekend. Garrison hesitated in turn 8. Right as he did, Overbeck pulled the trigger. And again, now he's got to go back to work and push a bit to close the gap to Ale. And it's a couple laps removed from the start, so DiTullio now starting to look a little more confident out in the front of the field. Can he drive away to his first win in X30 Pro with Rocket Racing Company? Behind him, Chase Cassian. Lee has now moved on to the provisional podium there in 5th. Garrison, the gap starts at 7/10. Time to go to work.
Yeah, it's time to really start chipping away at it there. ADT, you kind of saw him sliding around first couple of laps, low tire pressures for him. Again, long game. You got to think about how long these races are. 25 laps. That's a long time here, and we've seen those races kind of progress. We've seen them kind of, you know, it comes down to the wire here with those extended main events, and I think we're going to see that for AG. Just a matter of sitting patient, sitting calm, being consistent, and I'm sure Austin Garrison can get there along with Frankie Mossman and James Overbeck.
As long as they stay patient and keep the faith here for a bit here that they can get there. DiTullio with a good launch out of 9, trying to keep the gap up. Gus Lawrence trying to work his way back up the order. He's now back to Caden McQueen's rear bumper. Let's see if the gap closed at all that time by. No dice there. A couple hundredths goes the way of DiTullio, but it's still early. A lot of time left. Austin Garrison's been able to get it done before, but he needs to just hope for a mistake or be able to inch his way towards DiTullio. As we see the Nash drivers trade the 5th spot. Blake Nash is passed on Chase Cassian Lee. Move him back to 6th. McQueen, Lawrence, and then a little gap to Massimino right behind.
We go single file, right? Everybody kind of within the same speed range. That second group, you're kind of seeing them start to close in just bit by bit on James Overbeck. As now Gus Lawrence having a look on Caden McQueen. The two of them fought in the opening stage of this race. McQueen able to get the better of Lawrence. And again, that's where Gus has really just sat patient until now. Turn number 11. Gus Lawrence gets clear and Caden McQueen slots in a line. Paulie Massimino finally able to get himself well into the top 10 in 9th.
A little bit of hope here for the folks watching along. For one, Blake Nash is a rocket ship right now. Fastest car on the circuit by nearly 2 full tenths of a second last time by. And for Austin Garrison, he did chip a little bit into the gap of Alessandro DiTullio. What'll help is more battles further down the field to drag more dust and debris on the racetrack and force DiTullio to be the first one to get there to clear a path for everyone else. And of course, if Ale's not careful as he tries to manage this 25-lap run, if he lets himself slip just too close to the back group or the next group behind him, he'll give them the draft to close up and really put the heat on. That time by, he opens it back up. 10th and a half to Garrison. Blake Nash continues to roll. That time by, almost as fast as your leader. Gus Lawrence as fast as him. They are trying to close up. They are gaining on 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And again, we've got a long way still ahead of us. Anything can happen, but Alessandro DiTullio with a big gift off of one move from James Overbeck and one response from Austin Garrison has given him just the breathing room he needs to run his line and try to set the pace.
Yeah, we're almost going to see kind of 2 heat races all kind of combined in one, right? 25 laps, long time we've talked about it, right? We've seen it in the past. And again, I think we might see a pass here from James Overbeck on Frankie Mossman, looking very close on that rear bumper of the 377. He's going to wait. And again, it's going to be now turn number 1. The 48 gets clear into turn 1.
Overbeck back up to 3rd. Mossman looks back. Blake Nash is on the way. James Overbeck may need to protect here. Let's see, Frankie will stay in line behind him. Still yet to get to the halfway mark. Let's check further back. Here's Dalton Haynes on the back of the field, up a ton of spots. The 317 from 28th to 12th and moving. the chains here. Up in the infield as well, Overbeck, Mossman, Nash. I mean, that whole group has lined up behind him. 7 spots up and counting for Blake Nash, looking for some redemption from missing out on a chance for the money last night. There's another $5 up for grabs today. Let's see if he can get closer to it. He had a look there, didn't go in 11. He'll have another shot here anytime he wants it with the speed that he looks to have. That time by, another good lap for Blake Nash here as they continue to populate on the left-hand side. Gus Lawrence riding with him and Gassiet Lee. McQueen getting ready to potentially come under fire from Massimino for that 8th spot as well.
Yeah, Paulie getting very close to the Brit here. Again, he didn't have a look into turn number 4, so Paulie's probably going to wait till we get to turn number 8 to have a move. There. Blake, though, signal to chase Gassiet Lee, looking on the inside of turn number 8. Blake Nash is through. Gassiet Lee gives Mossman a wheel there, and Gus Lawrence now, the driver's going to push Frankie back through. Gassiet Lee stuck on the outside.
Blake Nash can continue the march up the board. The speed is going to need to stay to the end. Can Blake Nash bring down a 1.9, now 2-second gap as Mossman goes on defense here from Gus Lawrence? And Lawrence now on the receiving end of some defense in the midway. He was able to be the leader of it last night. Now Mossman leaves the door open in 4, and Lawrence walks right through along with Gassiet Lee. Here comes Massimino and McQueen as the fight shifts further and further down the top 10 and backs up closer, ever closer to the drivers charging up the field. Gaffera up 4 to 10th, and again Dalton Haynes up as well. Massimino going to give the bumper to Mossman, defending low, last second and 8. Paulie with a hand in the air going, what are we doing? Frankie just trying to recover as he continues to lose spots by the corner now. Here comes McQueen ready to go.
Yeah, Caden McQueen, as we get to the front stretch, we'll keep an eye on him. And I tell you what, that gap by ADT continuing to grow here. He's been a 10 to 2/10 quicker than Austin Garrison. DeTulio has the fastest lap of the race. So just putting everybody on notice here as we have a pass. There goes Blake Nash for 3rd.
Down the inside, Blake Nash continues to march. And with halfway on the board, can the Nash Motorsports driver in his first IAME Grands appearance get to Garrison? I think he should be close enough, and he definitely has the speed advantage. Right now, he's the only one tracking relatively close to the pace of the leader inside your top 10. You have to go back to Dalton Haynes for the only other driver last time around to hit a 47.3.
That's a long way back there as now we have a look at last night's shootout winner, Caleb Gaffera. Next one up to try and make a move on Frankie Mossman. As Caleb G starts to close in, he's currently in 10th, looking to get that spot for 9th as everybody else further back. And again, eye on Oliver Hodgson, spoke to him earlier. He's falling under fire here from Jacob Kolar in a couple of moments. Just hasn't been the weekend that Oliver Hodgson would have hoped on home soil.
This would be the 5th different winner here in the IAME USA, or 4th different winner over the 5 years of the IAME USA Grand National Championship. Ryan Norberg victorious in the opening 2 iterations. Dalton Haynes with a major win in 2023. Last year with a barn burner fight and a breakthrough win for Jacob Kolar. Now DeTulio leads the way as Massimino makes the move stick on Chase Gassiet Lee. And the 331 looked like initially he might have had the pace to continue to roll with Blake Nash up the grid. But now, Caden McQueen to the inside. Contact. He's passed. He'll bring a few. Mossman, Gaffera side by side. He'll let him in line in 5.
Yeah, just give and take there. Dalton Haynes getting a lot closer as Gaffera looking again on Chase Gassiet Lee. Mossman as well. 2 passes on your screen. Mossman gets it. Gaffera overshoots it. Dalton Haynes takes advantage.
Dalton Haynes from the back of the field. Hayden Jones now also marching forward off of some rougher goes through this point in the weekend. Might be able to hang his hat on a heck of a drive on Sunday. Had to miss the entirety of practice day on Thursday, but he knows this place well. He's won here before. He's now on the cusp of the top 10 as he closes to Gassiet Lee here in the 331 down the backstretch. Big run, looking, Chase knows it. He'll try to cover low into the bowl, and that'll stack him back to Kolar. Hodgson, Ryan Raffa is there in the black suit for the Mike Doty Racing Camp. Then it's Naomi Garcia and Finn Bailiff. And here's a look back to the top 3, or 2nd, 3rd, 4th, sorry. Blake Nash, first little bit of the gap starting to open back up from Austin Garrison, who is finally hitting his stride here, coming to 10 laps to go. 1.6 seconds for Alessandro Di Tullio. Can he keep the pace up? It is starting to falter just a little bit. Last time by, falling down to the 47.3s. He picked up to the 47.2s earlier. Blake Nash the same, starting to go to the wayside. Austin Garrison's done everything possible to manage the cards he was dealt there once the leader got away. Will he be able, over the next 10 laps, to eat up nearly a 1/10.5 to 2/10 a lap to get to Alessandro Di Tullio? It's a massive order that will be needed to be filled here by AG. Further back, one driver with a woulda, coulda, shoulda weekend here for Dalton Haynes. The 2023 winner picks up another one. As we go to the line, 9 to go. Look into the lap times. Garrison further back. Is it closing at all? That time by Di Tullio. Picks it back up. Finds the 47.2s again, and it goes to 1.7 seconds. Haynes' incredible drive is now up 20 positions, by the way. 28th on the grid to 8th now, hunting towards the money in the top 5. Here's Kolar's group with Jones and Hodgson in tow. This is just outside the top 10, 11th through 14th.
Yeah, this group has been going back and forth for the majority of this race. And again, Kolar said earlier, right, able to get around Oliver Hodgson. When you look up, Haynes, still a good amount of time to get up there for the podium places. Now Hodgson in a turn number 8 on Hayden Jones. Oliver's able to get through. Look at Ryan Raffa, over-unders the both of them. The 315 makes up 2 spots.
Heck of a drive there for Ryan Raffa and the Mike Doty Racing crew. Inches closer to the top 10 now with their lone entry here in the X30 Pro division. Coming down now, working lap number 18. And that'll move him to P12 officially as they run. I believe the start was good enough, but again, the only thing that could change the order of the podium from what we see as things stand is a jump start penalty. Di Tullio had those first 2 waved off. They let them go on the 3rd try. Was that enough? He already was given a warning yesterday. Hopefully again for his sake and the Rocket crew, this was good enough to get him going. As Blake Nash continues to try and hunt towards Garrison, he did close a little bit last time by, about a 1/10 of a second in a looming battle for P2. And there's a looming battle as well further on for the podium. Check out Paulie Massimino closing the gap just ever so slightly up until this past lap to Gus Lawrence. And look at this, here's second. Nash is close. This would be a career best X30 Pro main event finish, I believe, for Blake Nash. If he could pull off a vice championship run here, going up against the 2025 SCUSA Pro Tour champion in Austin Garrison, who has basically been in the running for the podium in every single class that he's been on track for this weekend. Double duty. He turned 27 last week. He mentioned how sore he's been. And Ashton Woon dropped a bit of news that this may be the final year for Austin Garrison on a full-time national calendar. And if it is, this is another reason why he has been able to stay at the top of his game for so long. So consistent, so fast in anything he gets behind the wheel of. He's got the SCR Carlos Sainz machine hauling the mail, trying to hang on here over these next 5.5 laps, but he'll have to deal with Nash here sooner rather than later. 3/10 and closing. Look how much Blake was able to eat it up there. Overshot turn 6 a tick, but man, did he close in and send it there.
Yeah, very deep into the corners for Blake Nash, and Garrison's just really been missing a 10th here to Blake Nash and Alessandro Di Tullio. That's it, just a 10th, and again, that's been a lot. That's kind of culminated into 2 seconds now. That's turned into the gap in between ADT and Austin Garrison. That's really been it, right? 1/10. You know, he's always gotten there. He got to the 47.2s just a little bit later than Di Tullio, and hasn't been able to get into the 47.1s yet, like Ale has. So,
pass looming further back. Dalton Haynes has caught Caden McQueen as well. That'll be for 7th, and this will be another spot potentially to change the podium. No one has driven further back anywhere remotely than Dalton has here today to get up this many spots and get into the top 5. He started 14th to drive into the podium in 2021. He's now started dead last, 28th. He's now up and into 7th. He can see the next couple ahead, but I don't know if he'll get there, as we'll be getting 4 laps to go this time by. And Alessandro Di Tullio is headed to close out what is a day that he was hoping would have been 2 weeks ago on Sunday in Indiana, when he was the best driver through the majority of the weekend, but couldn't quite seal the deal and allowed Joe Turney to get away from himself and Gus Lawrence's contact, and then a flat tire that completely removed him from the finishing order and the podium. He's got nearly 2 seconds now back to second and third. Haynes here with McQueen. That group about 1.25 seconds away from Paulie. And with 3.5 laps to go, we check back in as well for P2 and P3. Garrison having to deal with Nash. Massimino has also caught Gus Lawrence. So 2 looming battles here that could change the complexion of the podium. The vice championship spot here up for grabs. And that is a big time swing in the money. X30 Pro, $5,000 to the winner, $2,500 to second, $1,250 to third, another $1,000 and $250 on top of that for the change in position if Blake Nash can pull it off. It'll again make last night's miss hurt a little bit less. And for Massimino, this will put him on the box in every main event here today that he's had a shot at. The win in KA Senior. And now closing in on the off-pole man, Gus Lawrence. Here he goes, turn 8. And he's by for P5, coming to 2 to go, this time by.
Yeah, Paulie Massimino's been working at that move for quite some time, right? He's been up on the steering wheel, working at it, and finally able to get ahead of Gus Lawrence. And again, that gap's going to start to open up here. The gap for second going to close up as Blake Nash inches his way closer and closer to Austin Garrison. We'll keep an eye on it here on the back straightaway. Nash, this is going to be one of his best passing opportunities. 2 laps to go. Garrison doesn't fade low. He's going to stay in line. And again, Blake Nash is very, very close for what, like you said, Xander, a huge swing in the money for second.
And it's a big boost of confidence. He comes here in 2 weeks with a shot at the OKN Stars Championship here for the night fight. And could he potentially bring the momentum from today into a national championship? It'd be his first career in a pro category. A car length back from second here against the first of the 3 series' pro champions in single speed. Austin Garrison, 1 to go. And the gap opens back up as AG finds another gear. 1 more lap around. And down the backstretch for the final time. There goes DeTulio. The gap's open back up for Austin Garrison. Alessandro DeTulio, this year, his first real go in the USF Pro Championships. Came up a little bit short there. Came up a little short in his return to the seat in Indiana for the US Pro Kart Series. And last night, from the frustration of just less than 12 hours ago, essentially, to go from the pole and lead every single lap. Rocket Racing Company scores their first, and Alessandro DeTulio wins the IAME Grand National Championship in Pro X30. Austin Garrison survives the pressure to finish second and add to the winnings on the weekend. Blake Nash third, James Overbeck and Paulie Massimino get 2 BJR machines on the box and in the money. His first career podium in his 3rd race weekend, an X30 Pro, the 3-time KA Senior champ and the KA Senior Grand National champ today. Paulie Massimino rounds it off with Gus Lawrence 6th, Dalton Haynes an incredible drive through the pack, 28 to 7th. Caden McQueen ends up in 8th. Caleb Gaffera from 14th picks up a handful to 9th. Fast Frankie Mossman, not as fast as 2024, but a much happier result at least, getting to the finish with a top 10 result for Speed Concepts Racing. Jacob Kolar, last year's winner, just outside the top 10 in 11th. Oliver Hodgson in 12th. Ryan Raffa 13th. Danny Perez, Finnegan Bailiff, your top 15. And we get ready to send it down to the scales. Alessandro DeTulio, flawless from start to finish in the X30 Pro Main Event, and he gets the win for Rocket Racing Company in the Pro Division.
It's been a long time in the making. It's been a lot of hard work for Alessandro DeTulio. First one. But again, the first one here for Rocket Racing in a very, very long time. Talk to you about the emotion, right? You're finally an IAME Grand National Champion.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's been a while. I don't even know how to describe it. I mean, the team is, I've been coaching with this team, and we decided to put me in to drive for these last events since hard work that they've all put. Tayao, Kart, Alan. I want to thank Alex from AVP for the power. I want to thank Mike as well from Rollison. And I dedicate this to Paul from Rocket.
There you go, and you sound a little bit out of breath as well. Talk about that race, 25 laps, the longest race we've ever done here this weekend. And again, you've been out of the kart for quite some time. It looked like it didn't even phase you almost.
Yeah, no, I think Newcastle it did a little bit because I was pretty rusty there. But then I got on the kart after Newcastle. I went to Homestead, got on the kart sessions there. So I just kept my my ribs moving, my back hurting, and all that stuff. So this week I've been okay.
Well, there you go. Enjoy the $5,000 and ADT. Finally, an IAME Grand National champion.
Alessandro DiTullio victorious here. The official margin 1.5 seconds over Austin Garrison. Blake Nash ends in third. Overbeck and Massimino, your top five. Let's hear from our 2025 vice champ. Down with Haley.
I've got Austin Garrison here. You finished P2 today. How does this one feel for you?
Not great. We were just lacking a little bit off of Alessandro, but hats off to him. He's been one of the quickest this whole week. But we thought we had a package that could fight a little bit harder. I got passed on like lap 2 or something, and that gave him just enough of a gap, right? Can't really hang in his draft anymore. But, I pushed as hard as I possibly could, but he was just a little bit quicker than I was. I wasn't able to go and close the gap up, and, yeah, that's all we had in it.
If you could do it over, what would you change?
Nothing really. Honestly, maybe nothing I really could have done any different. I wouldn't change anything. It was besides trying to be a little bit closer to him, maybe defend for the guy who passed me for second, but that's about all you can really do.
Thank you, Austin. I'll send it back to you, Xander.
You can feel the bit of exhaustion there from Austin Garrison. So close in the early couple of laps. And like he said, once Ale got away and was able to just pound the laps, the extra bit of testing, and only his second major race weekend back in a long time since we last got to see ADT on the top step of the podium. He does it with a heck of a prize package awaiting him at the ceremonies later on this afternoon. $5,000, an X30 engine, and the Grand National Championship trophy. We'll send it on back on down as the scale line begins to roll. For everyone that has watched us, though, we want to thank you for joining us for the IAME Grand National Championship, and 6 new races completed and 5 Grand National Champions. Kicking things off with the youngest superstars. What a performance. What a last lap battle. Liam Francisco gets his first U.S. national win, bringing the Ryan Perry Motorsport crew to their feet, hollering as he crosses the line. And in a tone that would then be set from race number 2 onward, a string of dominant performances. Lucas Palacio able to get a nice gap early, just enough in the same way as we witnessed in X30 Pro to lead every lap in KA100 Junior. KA Senior, on the other hand, bit of a different story. You had multiple drivers entering the weekend with speed. Unfortunately, we lost one right off the rip. Edgar Rodriguez there was the driver indeed that collided with Colin Lloyd, who started well inside the top 10. But for ZCD, Austin Garrison and Paulie Massimino, a last lap battle, duking it out, bringing more into it as they continue to fight and allowing Paulie to score another checkered flag on the weekend. What a homecoming for the Massimino and BJR crew here from Mooresville, North Carolina, with the big time win in KA Senior in the main and the Apex Apparel Shootout for the second consecutive year. They won the Mini Swift Shootout with Lawrence Perriman. He started right there on the inside of the third row here in Mini Swift, and he got to the lead early. but it didn't stick. It was all about the Parolin machine. Zane Burgess and Maxwell Macha, teammates duking it out, back and forth through turn 8 and turn 9. What a battle all the way to the end, and Zane was able to score the win and get some redemption from last year, where he was oh so close to the Micro Championship. And here, he wins it in Mini, and a big smile on his face. Family here, friends, and the rest of the team for Parolin, victorious in the second of our 2 cadet categories. X30 Jr then took to the racetrack, and again, a dominant performance from Lucas Palacio to bring it home to MPG Motorsports and Kart Republic, our double winner on the day. And he started from the inside. It took him a moment to get going, but once they did, the battles were all behind him, and exactly what you'd hope for from the prettiest spot on the grid. Here decided it. James Overbeck feeling the speed early, but it wasn't quite enough to hang with the Tullio. Garrison went back by him, but it was still too much. Lost to the race leader. And a flag-to-flag performance for Ale. He becomes our newest addition to the wall of winners on the 2025 National Tour. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the Grand National Championships here from Mooresville.